Adam said that we need a jingle. Howdy, everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to the Praise the Pickle podcast.
I'm glad we start all these episodes like really unusual to really grab the audience.
That's the idea, Kevin.
Thank you.
So, this is the Praise the Pickle podcast where we talk about games and everything that we love about said games, everything that we hate about said games, and everything that we find incredibly mediocre. Yeah. How's everyone's week been? I haven't actually asked you this time.
Oh. Who's going first?
There's no order to speak.
Oh, what? I could tell you about my whole entire week.
No, just
well, on Monday.
No, briefly.
It's been good. I've enjoyed my gaming.
Good.
At least somebody got some gaming time.
All right. So Dan, have you had your coffee yet?
I had a one or two. Yeah. Maybe I should have another one.
Maybe.
Should we restart?
My week's been alright, thanks.
Good.
Double decent.
Double, triple decent. Right. So let's kick it off with Kevin's blunders. There wasn't any. Moving on. Yeah, so not really much news from this week regarding the pod. We are. I set up an Instagram today. That's about as exciting as it gets. So
that is exciting.
Yeah. So if you love your Instagram, give us a follow on there.
Yeah.
And
it's just going to be pictures of Ben.
It's just pictures of me
in swimwear.
Yeah. Depending on how many, it's stretch goals. You know, when we get 100, I'll take one piece of clothing off and then,
strip instant.
Yeah.
It comes like 2 years. I'll be wearing the same clothes.
So yeah, Instagram, give us a follow. It is just Praise the Pickle on Instagram. So let's just. So our top three this week. Last week we completely forgot to suggest one for this week. So Kevin kindly suggested top three boss fights, which is so good. Like it's such a good top section, man. So because of that, we all have so many that we're going to do top five in a briefer fashion today. That's the idea. So because Dan and Kevin both said they had like 50 they could put on there. So I was like, let's just do top five. Makes life a bit easier.
I mean, to be honest with you, with most games nowadays, bosses are like all games. Bosses are just those moments that you remember, and they really make a game. So of course, there's going to be loads.
Yeah.
I mean, I
struggle
boss fights as well, all the way through, just boss fight after boss fight.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Right, let's. I'll kick this one off. I'm pretty sure I haven't done it in a while. So my number five, I've mentioned it before, so we'll be very brief. Is the Acantor in Monster Hunter, which is just this mega, giant, big beast thing, and you fight him in like a volcano, and it's just.
Oh, that one. Okay, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it's madness, but it's such a good fight, and it's so. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the whole thing before, but that proper fist pump moment, and you actually do it, and you're just like, yeah.
That's like every boss, every fight you do in Monster Hunter. Because
they're
so good.
The Acantor is just so unreal, man. Now you've played a fair bit of Monster Hunter Worlds, but nothing you've done has been even close to that sort of that.
Need to get further down, further in, don't I?
You do, to be fair, yeah. So yeah, mine is the Acantor from Monster Hunter. Kevin, you want to shoot us with your number five?
Okay, so where initially throughout the week we decided we were going to do a top, as the previous week we've been doing a top three. I was going to have an honourable mention because I feel like this boss should be. A lot of people would class it as one of the best bosses, in my opinion. Well, say in my opinion, I think a lot of people should. and it's the Ender Dragon in Minecraft.
I love it. I haven't done it myself, but I love that.
It's one of them. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I mean, everyone knows that plays any kind of games knows about the Ender Dragon. They know it's this final boss that once you've done it, you've. Although the game doesn't really have an end, you finished when you've done the majority of all the hard things when you beat the Ender Dragon, and it's such an iconic moment in gaming.
I've never even seen. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a liar.
I don't. No, it's not. I don't. What is the Ender Dragon?
The Ender Dragon. I mean, it has the word "end" in the title. Like, it's the final boss of Minecraft, and you spend your entire playthrough slowly progressing to get to that point. And when you get to that point and you beat that boss, you've won Minecraft, but you still keep developing your world.
Well, I have never heard of that, but okay, cool. I'm sure it's very exciting.
How have you not heard of the
That
Ender
is
Dragon? That's mad.
Slightly embarrassing.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
Why is it a pretty big deal?
Why is it so iconic?
Well, it's incredibly hard to even get to for a start. You have to be insanely prepared. And obviously it's Minecraft, so there are various ways that you can approach it. But you get something really special for beating it. Or the component to craft something special that completely changes the way you play the game completely. And utterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty mad moment.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, well, at least you learned something about Ben today.
Yeah. I played a fair bit of Minecraft as well. I just didn't know that was a thing.
Wait, did you think Minecraft was just simply you mine things, you build blocks, and then...
Yeah.
What do you think the whole point of having all this armour and stuff is?
Well,
have you ever heard of the Wither Boss?
No.
Dude,
Honestly,
are you sure you played Minecraft?
I have, but I genuinely thought Minecraft was just this randomly generated place, and you just explore and build shit.
You missed a whole section of this game.
Honestly, I didn't even know. Game. I did not know that at all.
All right.
Okay, that's actually quite exciting. I might have to jump on that at some point because that makes me more excited to play it.
We can go back to prison, Ben.
Prison. Oh, did Dan ever tell you about
that? No, he did. Yeah, no, I remember him telling me about it. Yeah,
it's so funny, man. Yeah, for context, so we built this massive what we thought was a castle, and we were like, this place looks so cool. We had these big watchtowers and stuff, and we went on this adventure that lasted hours, right? And we had no idea how to get back, and we finally got back, and we were like, oh my god, we found it! And then there was just this 5-second silence. We're on a boat, we're completely silent, and then I just go, Dan, our castle looks like a prison. It's just the spitting image of a prison, because all the watchtowers extended out, if that makes sense. So they don't at the top. So where a castle watchtower is just like a tower, like a straight tower that extended out at the top to make a platform, and it made it look like the prison watchtower. So we're like, oh god, it's atrocious.
We should post a screenshot, Ben.
Yeah, definitely.
All over the world.
Oh, it's the first Instagram post.
Yeah, definitely. Good shout. Sweet. Go on, Dan. Hit us with your number 5.
Cool. I have 2 games from one series, a series that I've mentioned many times, but I don't think I've mentioned any of these bosses before. Metal Gear Solid series, obviously, is full of really, really interesting boss fights.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to pick. Really, really hard to pick. But the first one I've gone for, which actually I have mentioned before, is Psycho Mantis in the first PlayStation 1 Metal Gear game.
That was in so many
your
lists.
Mind. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was it was game changing, so to speak. It changed everything about the way that you interact with the game and how the game interacts with you.
Yeah.
And just broke the fourth wall down.
Oh wait, was this the one where you have to turn your PlayStation off and?
No, that one almost made it. That was
okay.
the end where you can fast forward the time on your console and make the enemy die of old age. This one was the one that read your memory card, but you didn't realize it was doing that in the first moment. It starts talking to you and telling you about what games you like playing as a player, and sort of giving you a personality profile, which is super creepy. until you realise what it's doing. It's reading the memory card, and then it turns from creepy into clever. But it's also just a really cool boss fight. Like, he's throwing tables at you and lifting things up with his telekinesis, and it's not really what you expect from a game like this. You don't expect supernatural powers and stuff, but it works really well, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be on your list, definitely.
Yeah, he's also a floating dude with a gas mask on.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most unique boss battles. You're going to struggle to find one more unique than that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, my next one. I haven't really put these in order. My number 4 is the Spider Lady from Evil Within. Just because I love horror games, and my god, she is one terrifying creature.
Oh yeah, no, don't give me
She is like hauntingly creepy. It's just horrid, man. But I can't even explain it. Just that classic scene from
in the Ring, innit?
No, Exorcist, isn't it? The Exorcist with this backwards spider.
Yeah, the
down
girl,
the stairs.
and she's
It's like that
weird.
taken to a whole new level, man. It's just it's creepy as hell.
She almost looks like she's like on all fours, but
it's exactly the same as the Exorcist
was born like that. But you could tell that it's definitely
I mean, Dan, you can relate to this because you've seen the first moment she appears, haven't you?
If it's the one that I think it is, then I didn't really look at her much. I just turned around and ran for my life.
Yeah, but that moment, right, is one of my favourite moments in video games, like across the board, because of how unexpected it is. Because you're just running down a hallway, aren't you? You run down a hallway, and then suddenly it's just like, blah, and this thing just appears. You're like, oh my god, and it's just horrible.
and the fight against her is pretty cool as well. To be honest with you, it definitely changed the way you kind of play in most of that game, how it's been.
Because you have to run around like the little maze thingy, don't you?
That must be after like the 9-hour mark where I stopped playing it. So I missed that bit.
Yeah, no, that was creepy as hell fight, man. Still haunts my dreams. Go on, Keith.
This one, I don't know. I'm assuming you guys have probably played it. Is the Master Hand from Super Smash Bros.
Oh, good choice. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
That's an awesome choice.
I've only ever, I think, faced it twice because I used to go around my mates ages ago and play Super Smash Bros. And I've always been bad at the game, but it's always one of them bosses that's stuck in my mind. It's like, for anyone that doesn't know, it's literally a massive white glove, basically. And the hand basically just like punches you and tries to flick you and do different things to you. But it's just, I think, the element between Super Smash Bros. Being such a sick game as it is, plus this it in itself, it was a very unique boss. Yeah, like, you're not going to get yourself a hand much like anytime soon, really, are you? And yeah, that was just, I think, in terms of bosses go, I think if a boss can stick in your mind, you know it's a good boss.
Yeah. And I mean, the main reason that stuck in my mind is because the amount I grinded through Super Smash Bros. Melee. I've probably fought that boss about 500 times or something.
I was going to say, man, you already faced it 2 times.
I never owned the game.
Yeah,
fair enough. I literally just went around my mates and played it.
I 100%ed Melee, so at the amount of times I actually had to complete classic mode to be able to just get all the characters and stuff was insane. So
I must have got pretty close as well, actually. But it was really cool animation for its time as well.
It was
like putting your hand down on a desk and walking around with your fingers as if they're legs. Like, it was doing all that kind of stuff, and it was flying around and slapping you.
And if you play it on hard mode, then you have to fight 2 of them.
2 of them, yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. That's a really good choice, Kev.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go on, Dan.
I'm going to go straight in with my other Metal Gear Solid one because these are in no order at all. Again, super hard to pick. There are brilliant bosses in every single Metal Gear Solid game, but I eventually went for the very last fight in Metal Gear Solid 3. The last fight in every game is absolutely sick, but the one in Metal Gear Solid 3 I think had the biggest emotional impact. So it's the big boss fight, and big boss, who is kind of your spiritual mother type character, is fighting off of you in this beautiful field of like blooming flowers, and you're having like a hand-to-hand fist fight with her, and you're throwing each other around and you're swinging punches, and there's this whole back and forth dialogue as it's happening. And then right after it all happens and you win the fight, you're kind of forced to finish her off, and it's such a profoundly powerful moment. She's laying on the floor like half knocked out, looking up at you going, go on, do it, and you're standing above her with a gun pointed down at her, and the game, it comes out of the cutscene at this point and just goes to you standing there with this big fat assault rifle pointed right in her face, and it doesn't let you do anything else, and you sit there for like however long you want, and it doesn't let you walk away, it doesn't let you make a choice in this moment. The only way to progress to the very end of the game is to pull that trigger, and it's because it's all these white flowers and you just get these splatters of red, it just pops, and it's such an artistic scene, and a really nicely done close quarters combat fight as well, like many of the other games did. But that moment where you have to pull the trigger, oh mate, it really sticks with it.
Well, I can imagine it being...
Yeah, she's like a mentor to you and everything. And
you know what? I've never really played any Metal Gear Solid game, but I feel like I've played all of them just from watching you play them over the years. I even remember that fight.
I'm not surprised. It's hard to forget that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So I wish I could just pick my top 10 or 20 or 30 Metal Gear Solid bosses, because I can quite easily do that as well.
There's a lot of them, yeah.
No more Metal Gear Solid in this list, I promise.
Nice. Right, so my number 3 is The Stranger in God of War, the new one. It's a standard God of War. No, it's not. I can't. It's hard to. You know how God of War is always epic proportions, right? You look at all the fights through the first 3 games, and it's just like these massive set pieces and crazy ass things going on. The Stranger is literally just some bloke that knocks on your door. Like,
wait, is that one of the very first fights?
It's the very first fight, yeah.
Oh, okay, no, I've seen this one. Yeah, it's
such a mad
game.
Fight.
I'd love to play God of War. Like, the game looks so like throwing punches in that game. It looks so rewarding.
Yeah, to be fair, it's got some of the most satisfying combat going. Like, it's not the best combat, but it's a proper weight in everything you do. But like in terms of the fight, it's literally some bloke just knocks at your door, and it's like, "You alright?" And he's just like, "You alright?" You just have this fight, right? But the whole point is it kind of sets the scene a bit, because when you leave God of War 3, Kratos is the most overpowered thing going, right? And he's just he's killed Zeus, like he's insane, right? And then this bloke just knocks at your door, and you essentially kill him, right? And then he comes back to life, or he's basically immortal. He can't die, and Kratos is just sort of like, oh shit, like what do I do here, sort of thing. And it's just sets the scene to make you realise that he's not as powerful as you probably thought he was beforehand, and he's just a really interesting character as well, this guy. It's kind of lazy of me. I can't remember his actual name, because you do find out who he is later on. He's not just the Stranger, but at that point in the game, he's known as the Stranger. So.
Yeah.
And it's just a wicked fight anyway. It's like a proper like street brawl. It's so good.
I've been super careful to avoid God of War spoilers, but that's come up before.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of the Stranger before. I think it's because it's so close to the start of the game that people are a bit less apprehensive about mentioning it. But
yeah, definitely.
People seem to be very excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, very good fight. Very good game.
Can't wait.
Go on, Kevlar.
Mine is Loki from Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghosts and Ghouls.
Never played it.
One day I'm going to know what way to go. I mentioned it last week as one of the very first... Sorry, I have a massive frog in my throat that just appeared. I mentioned it last week as one of the very first games I played.
Yeah.
And like, it's been in my brain my entire life. I'll be honest with you, I'd say it's been in all of my family. If they was to remember anything from this game, it will be this one boss. And I just remember it, just you know, you had this whole entire sequence beforehand. you're battling away, and you have to finally face this boss. And if you lose to the boss, you have to go back to like not just restart the boss. You have to go back and kill everything else again.
Yeah,
and
proper SNES game.
And it's basically, if anyone doesn't know, it's a massive basically looks like a devil, and he just sits on this chair, and he's got his legs wide open, and he.
I don't know where this is going.
And he's yeah, that sounds pretty mental, doesn't it? And you basically just have to go around just hitting all these weak spots, and in the meantime you have to dodge it all these I think he had lasers in his eyes, I want to say, while he's shooting at you and that, and it's just this it's almost like a picture.
Yeah.
Because obviously because it's such an old game, it's literally like a still picture in the background with a few things moving every now and then. And it's something that just sits in my mind, and I remember it being so difficult, and he looked really cool. But yeah, obviously, I wouldn't be able to talk much about the game because I haven't played it in a long time. But yeah, it's stuck in my mind, and I feel like it should have got a mention from me.
I do. I really want to play it. I know it's really old now, but it's such a cult classic. I'm just like. I do want to. I'm so tempted just to emulate it or something and just play it because it does sound. I want to know why it's such a cult classic. If you know what I mean.
I think you can get it on. Sorry, I think you can get it on the Switch as part of the Nintendo monthly thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I'll give it a go at some point.
I think you'd like it.
All right, Danny boy.
I'm going to stick with the theme that Kevin's going for. So going way back now, this was going to be my honourable mention, and it's Red/Blue from the first Pokemon games on Game Boy.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it wasn't.
Wait, Red? What do you mean?
As in your rival that you fight after.
Oh, were they called Red and Blue? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's their lore name. Obviously, I think you can name them whatever you want.
I thought their name was Gary or something.
Actually, I think you might be right. Yeah, but Red and Blue is the name that the lore gives to them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And I think the reason for that is it was half unexpected, because the first time you play through it, bearing in mind I would have been quite young at this point, you do all this work and all this preparation to go through the Elite Four. So you fight the Four, and then you fight Lance, the big boss, at the very end, and you think that's going to be it. Like, you've beaten the master and you're going to become the Pokemon champion, and everything that you've worked towards is going to come true. And then there's that final challenge, and you go through the final set of doors, and your rival, who's been there for the whole game, is standing there, and you have the final showdown. And it's, looking back, it's a little bit cliche and expected. It doesn't, you've been fighting this dude at every milestone in the game up until that point. He just turns up all the time, and you have these big crazy battles, and he's always that little bit more powerful than you. But I don't know, I just felt like it was such a nice way to put a cap on the game and close everything off. And obviously after that you can go and get Mewtwo and do all this other cool stuff, but there was something I thought the stories in those games are really captivating, like all the things that are going on with Team Rocket and Giovanni and all these different plot points. And yeah, it was just nice to have that classic showdown with that one person that's been there from the very beginning.
It was almost poetic, wasn't it? Like,
that's a nice way to put it. Yeah, I like that. That's kind of what I'm going for here. And it just sticks in my memory, and it formed the basis of what every Pokemon game became after that. You always had the rival at the start who always picked the Pokemon that was, the strong type against yours, but you always got the first pick, and that person was always there, and there was always this race to the finish. And I don't know. I just really like that moment. I thought that was, again, it's one of those things that isn't that special now, but stuck in my memory as one of the first big full RPG games that I completed and saw through to the end and closed it off at that point. And it was
a really nice ending. I know what you mean. Like, it was one of those things where, because you're getting going, oh, you want to become the Pokemon Master, you have to defeat the Pokemon Master, and it's like, oh, who is this Pokemon Master sort of thing? Who could it be? Or as a child, you're like, it could be anyone. It could be Steve from the Chippy, and then you get there, and it's like, and then it's Gary, and you're like, oh shit, Gary! I can't believe after all this, Gary actually got there first. What a dick.
Yeah, big twist.
Yeah, as a child, I mean, you look at it now and you think, oh god, but
yeah. So that was my honourable mention of sorts.
Yeah. That was a good honourable mention.
Thanks, Kevin.
They're the kind of mentions you really like. You need in your life.
Yeah, and he put him above Metal Gear Solid as well. So,
hey, this isn't in any order. Just saying.
That's what you think.
All right, I don't know which one to put as my number 2. All right, yeah, my number 2 is, see if this rings a bell for Kevin, Martyr Lorgarius.
Wait.
Is this on your list as well?
Yeah.
Sounds like a Bloodborne boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, we've mentioned it before, but it was the boss at the top of on the roof of that building, on the roof of the church or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was a church. Yeah.
Oh my days, man.
Hours, man. Hours.
days, Kevin. It took us days to do that boss, and
we couldn't do it.
Yeah, and it was just. Yeah, it was just technically a good boss as well. To be honest, I basically went, right, top bosses. Well, I could pick about 50. Well, there's not even 50 Bloodborne bosses, but I could pick about 15 Bloodborne bosses easily because there's so many good bosses in that game.
They are so. I remember there was one of them. It was like a little it was like a dog, and he had like a mouth on the side of his body, and.
Oh yeah.
It's really miserable, but he was again. They were just. What I like about them is that they're so obviously the game is set it's like a very old setting of a game, but even the bosses just seemed, although they look really slow and just wise almost, they were just so cool looking. And then this one arsehole boss that when for anyone that doesn't know, you don't actually have to kill this fucking boss. It didn't actually do anything to the game, it didn't change anything killing this boss. We didn't know that until we beat him, and we realised that it's not actually needed to beat. And every single tutorial we ever looked at, everyone cheated because they just increased their health and actually using his skill. Sorry, there's a lot of love and hatred in this boss because I remember when we finally beat him.
No, I remember, because we basically played the whole game up to that point saying, well, let's just increase stamina. So we had an insane amount of stamina. And then every single time we looked at a tutorial, we're like, this is impossible. There's no way we can beat this boss. And every time I looked at a tutorial, everyone else had just maxed out their health.
Yeah, and they were just the game is based around you being able to dodge attacks and timing your attacks well. Everyone would just stand there and just get slapped up. Yeah,
we were like, well, we can't get slapped that much, so this doesn't help at all, does it?
And then I think we end up trying to get a different weapon that stuns him for a bit. And I think at the end of it, I think we just after a lot of grinding and just playing him over and over and over again, we finally cracked the arsehole.
Yeah, the amount of times we fell off that building as well.
Oh my! Don't.
That must have been devastating.
Man. The first time was devastating. After that, we were just like, oh. It was a good boss though, and there's so many. There's the old hunter, the last boss. He's wicked. That's just like a proper. It's literally hunter versus hunter,
it is.
It just felt so cool, And then
it was, yeah.
There's the other hunter in. To be honest, all the hunters were fun to fight because there's loads of them around. Where you could fight the other knights in Dark Souls. It's the same sort of thing in Bloodborne. And do you remember the one in the graveyard that turns into a werewolf halfway through?
Yeah. Oh, that was cool.
He was
That's
really cool.
Yeah.
And then you got the lady in the church, the one with the blindfold
the old lady.
on. No, the young one. She's got a blindfold on, and then she turns into this big raggy dog.
Oh, I don't remember that one in particular.
I'll show you a picture. And
I remember the 3 witches.
Yeah, the 3 look like the things from Lord of the Rings.
There was a lot of dogs in there. I remember there was a really old white dog that you have to fight.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the girl.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the girl turns into that. Yeah. But yeah, it's just an amazing game. Bloodborne and Dark Souls, in my opinion, have the best bosses of anything ever in them. I looked at a list. I was like, top Bloodborne and Dark Souls bosses. And it was top
They're
100
so
list.
Good.
And I was just like, what? There can't be that many bosses. And you go through it and it's like, no, there is actually more than 100 bosses in these games. It's insane. But Yeah, awesome. I need to play 1, 2, and 3 Dark Souls. I can't believe I've never played them. I love Bloodborne so much.
We played 2, didn't we?
No, we didn't play 2. We played probably about half of 3. But then, like, looking at this list and looking at all the bosses, I was like, we didn't even get to half of these.
No, on number 2 we started playing it for a bit, but I think I was terrible at the game. So
it was a lot slower than Bloodborne,
yeah.
So we struggled with it, yeah. Anyway, sorry, we're not supposed to be yabbering on.
Well, I mean that is my number 1, so I guess we can skip my number 1. So.
Okay. Right, so Kev, what's
obviously isn't as good as your
number
number 1,
then?
is it?
Oh no,
this,
yeah. Go on, Dan.
I'll okay.
Dan, number 2.
Okay. Number 2. Yes. So, Borderlands 3 Game of the Year is
bullshit.
full of amazing boss fights. And I went back and forth between 2. One of them I mentioned to you earlier, Kevin. I've decided that I'm not going to mention that one because it's a bit too spoilery for quite a new game. Because I think it's a really nice surprise.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough.
So I'm going to go for Troy, who's one of the final bosses in the game, probably in the last hour of the game or something. And oh man, this list was so hard. Like right now, I'm just thinking of so many bosses from so many games that are so good. But this one was really, really good fun, and it took me quite a few goes to crack it. But it's your typical Borderlands shoot the weak points on an arena type thing. Epic music, as I've said a million times. But it's also like a really hardcore bullet hell boss where you have to time everything perfectly and move around in a particular way. And I don't know, there's not much else I can say about it, but it does kind of tie the story together quite nicely as well. Considering the story's not that great, it is one of the highlights of the story. But
it's definitely a good twist.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. Yeah, it's just a really, really epic boss fight. It's like a bullet hell / shoot 'em up / beat 'em up, like arena brawler type thing. It's just epic.
And it's a very old school way of bosses where everything's very like all of his attacks would be like quite repetitive, but they'd be so you always had to be moving. You always had to be concentrating the whole time, and trying to get because you had to keep moving to dodge all the attacks while shooting all the right points.
Yeah,
and then he'd switch up the type of attack after a bit, and then
so we had the 3 phases that you get in most traditional boss fights. So it was very traditional in that sense, and most of his attacks were telegraphed, so you knew what he was about to do before he did it. But it gets faster and faster, and it's a really heart-pounding. You have to respond super, super quickly to all these little things, and he chains things together quite fast as well towards the end of the fight, and there's almost some pixel perfect jumps and side strafes that you have to do to avoid all these really powerful attacks. It's traditional, old school in a way, but yeah, memorable. I love that fight.
They have one of the best moments, I think. I mean, it was a very Borderlands-esque moment just after that. It was the bit where the number 4 comes up on your screen, Dan.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was
I forgot about
just
that.
after this boss, which like all of it together, like it's still it's included in this boss battle you've just had. That there was a moment. I don't want to ruin it if anyone ever wants to play this game, but it's such a classic Borderlands move, and it was brilliant.
I'd
give
really
you
well.
that one.
Yeah. Awesome. I forgot about that. Cool. That's it. That's my number 2, even though it's not in any order.
Cool.
Did you enjoy that, Ben?
Yeah, it's great.
You should play
so
it, Ben.
salty, it's unbelievable.
Game of the year.
It's not going to be game of the year. Right, so my number 1 is Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Ooh, nice.
Classic.
Yes. He's
a don, man.
Coolest. Yeah, he's just a don. Like, he's terrifying. And the fact that you can hear him,
Screaming
dragging
that
his sword around,
Oh.
that's like Oh man, it's so creepy, and it's just he was like perfect. You know, like everyone always talks about the Tyrant from Resident Evil 2, saying, "Oh, it's so scary," and I'm like, no. Like, if you even played Silent Hill, like the Pyramid Head in Silent Hill is next level scary, man. Like, it's just his. Obviously, I was gonna say. I was going to say his blank expression, but then I was like, well, he's wearing a pyramid on his head. He hasn't got a blank expression, has he? He could be smiling underneath, we don't know.
That's even creepier.
Yeah, it would be a bit creepy. Take it off and he's just like gurning, like, hey. Yeah, so Pyramid Head is just a terrifying monstrosity of a character that some crazy person cooked up in a meth lab. So...
Well done to him.
Well done to him for making something that has haunted my dreams since Silent Hill 1 and the PlayStation 1.
The film nailed him as well. Like they got
did,
that
yeah.
dead on. Yeah.
Film, again, amazing. Watch the film.
Yeah.
One of the best horror movies out there.
I kind of want to watch that again, you know.
Me too, actually. Movie night.
Movie night.
The Praise the Pickle movie night.
We could stream it.
And then play the game afterwards. Oh.
Yeah. Kev, you couldn't.
That'd be quite dope, actually.
There's no way you could play Silent Hill.
No, man, I'll go this.
All right.
Just give me a keyboard and I'll be alright.
Yes, that's my number one. Kev, you're number two then.
This one I think you can all, because you've all played against it, and it has obviously a part in my heart, which is the Destroyer. Does anyone know where that's from?
No.
The final boss on Borderlands 1.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I have not played Borderlands 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, how can you say that you don't, that you think Borderlands 3 is the same as all the other ones when you've never played any of them?
No. So I've played Borderlands 1, but like the first like few hours of it.
What about 1 to 9 hours?
1 to 9 hours. I've played the only one I played through is the pre-sequel, that's it.
Oh, you played that with me, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was like the worst one as well.
They're all the same, Dan.
Actually, that really annoys me. Anyway, yeah, basically, this boss is. I think it's the first time you've faced like a proper big old boss in Borderlands, and Borderlands is definitely a very different game that had ever for me it was. I've never played a game anything close to it, especially with all the amount of guns that were put into the game, and it was just that game had so many good parts about it. And then to finish the game off, that you've grinded, you've brawled to get to this moment, and it's like I don't know how to put it. It's just a really fat old slug type thing, and it's purple, and it just has so many different attacks. And then there's all four of you just pounding away at this big old slug thing, and once you finally kill it, because all these bosses that we've been talking about. You have to think just the amount of time you put into fighting these bosses, because they take so long to kill, and that's what's so good about bosses as well.
Yeah, depending on the game, like some bosses aren't. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean you are talking about a game where every enemy is just a bullet sponge. So
I feel like every time we talk about Borderlands, Ben should leave the podcast room. The imaginary podcast
you would talk
room.
about it for hours, Kevin.
It's just so.
And then that spray of loot you get after you kill him.
Oh yeah, in Borderlands.
For the final boss, it's great getting all the loot.
You kill any
after
boss.
The final boss.
You kill any. No, you have reasons behind it all, but you kill this final boss, and any boss in the game, especially because it's the final one. Like they literally just explode, and like money goes flying up into the sky. All these new guns and these rare guns, and it's like you're getting rained upon by like gold and magic and beauty and love. And orgasms all over your face.
That is the epitome of Borderlands right there.
Yeah, there you go. There's my number 2.
Epic.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Go on, Dan. Number 1.
Sorry, I think Ben just fell asleep.
Yeah, a little bit. To be honest, I just looked up a picture of Borderlands: The Destroyer, and it looks like the naffest boss going, man.
You're so just.
It's just literally a big blob on the wall.
You don't understand.
It's a big blob on a wall. That is
You
it.
weren't there. You were not there.
All right, sorry. Yeah. The creativity behind said blob must have been astounding.
Okay.
Borderlands was such a creative game. Shut up, Ben. You're wrong. You're so wrong.
Pyramid Head was just a man with a pyramid on his head.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
so
still
true.
a person.
Yeah? What are you saying about the destroyer, man? He had a family and everything.
Creative.
He had little slug babies with his little slug girlfriend.
Okay, go on, Dan.
I'd somehow almost forgotten about this until you threw it my way earlier, Ben. And then as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, that's definitely up there, 100%.
Nice try, Ben.
So, I think it's like one of the first bosses, like proper bosses in the game. And it's a guy they call the Soul Master in Hollow Knight, or the Psychic Dude.
Hell yeah.
Some people might know him. And when I was starting to get into it, I still need to finish this game, but when I was starting to get into it, I was maybe 3 hours in or something. And you said to me, as I was getting to a point, you was like, oh, let me know when you get to the bit. And I was like, oh, what do you mean the bit? And you were like, you'll know what bit I'm talking about. And I was like, how can you be so vague? And I knew what bit you were talking about as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
But it's worth highlighting the way you approach it and the build up to it. So each new area in the game has a different enemy type that will be introduced to you with different mechanics. And some of these baddies, a bit like Dark Souls, can look like mini bosses in themselves because they're so new and big and chunky and hard to kill. And you're like, oh, that was a challenge. Like, I hope I don't have to fight any more of those. And you think you've killed a boss, but then you see 3 more of them in the next room. You're like, oh, it's just a standard enemy type. Great. It's a pretty hardcore game.
Yeah.
So as you're getting through the lab or whatever it is that you need to get onto the roof of this area, you see this floating fat blobby psychic insect type dude who's throwing, spirit bombs at you and all sorts.
Spirit bombs. Lend me your power.
And you fight one of those and you're like, Jesus Christ, that was hard. And up until this point in the game, you haven't really faced a real boss, like a proper boss. So you get through that and you're like, oh, finally. And then, as I say, you fight a few more of them. You're like, okay, that wasn't the boss. That's kind of scary. I wonder what an actual boss is like. And then you walk out onto this roof and it's so atmospheric and it's raining and you can see lightning storms in the distance and the silhouettes of these like ornate rooftops way off in the horizon. And then you see this like tiny little silhouetted figure come floating above the roofs of the buildings. And it's a hand-drawn like 2D game, but it's so well done, and the music starts to change, and you can see it kind of roar or scream in the distance, and then come flying towards the camera, and it gets bigger and bigger, and it's such a hard fight. Oh my god, I was losing my marbles trying to kill this dude. He is cruel as hell, and then you think you've worked out his patterns, but then he works out when you've worked out his patterns. So if you dodge too early, he's like, I'm just faking it. I'm not actually going to do that ability. I'm going to teleport over here and do it here instead. And it screws with you so much. But the satisfaction of killing that guy was up there, man, with one of the best moments. And it's such an early boss in the game as well, but it was so good. So good.
It's weird. I still think it was one of the harder ones. I don't know if it's hard, like the hardest boss, but it feels the hardest because it's your first real challenge, I guess. Whereas as you start, obviously you're getting better at the game. The bosses feel a bit easier later on, but
I think the next one you fight is the female insect. What's her name? Wasp or something?
Mate, I can't remember, to be honest, man. I don't think you have to fight them in any particular order. To be fair, there's like a vague order.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point. But the next boss fight is really hard. It's a completely different type of fight, but.
What is it? The girl,
really
the girl-looking insect.
The one they're making a sequel of.
Oh yeah.
I've forgotten her name.
Silk Song lady.
Yeah, that's right. And you fight her, and that's a really hard fight, and that's probably just as many goes to kill, maybe a few less. But I think it didn't feel as gratifying because I was used to that by that point.
Yeah.
But
no, exactly. Yeah.
Oh mate, that first boss, that Soul Master boss was epic.
It was so good, wasn't it?
So good, and I knew straight away as soon as I did it. That's the bit that Ben was warning me about.
Yep.
I messaged you straight away like, "Oh my god, Ben, Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that is our top 5 each
A
video
nice,
game.
short, snappy 45
bosses.
minutes right there.
To be fair, that was still less than last week when we had top 3, so doing all right. Let's jump straight into feedback because we posted up on the social media things asking what you guys' favourite bosses were, and we got some feedback. So Kev, you wanna?
Yeah, we have. Okay, so we'll start with the Facebook feedbacks. We have Jake and Vicky responded to a comment about the favourite boss. Vicky suggested the Spider Girl, which you did, Ben.
Hell yeah!
In Evil Within. Was a cool first boss.
Was
and
it
then
the first boss?
it was, wasn't it? I thought it was the first boss.
I think so.
All right.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember.
And then Jake also, Jake said that he thinks Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, that's so
Metal Gear Solid
almost
4.
made it.
Yeah.
That was such a sick moment. Oh wait, you're talking about the Metal Gear Solid 4.
He
Also a
is.
sick
Yeah.
one. Yeah, also a sick one because, oh mate, yeah, because it goes into like a side-scrolling Tekken type Soul Calibur thing. The whole UI changes.
Oh man.
Oh, that's a proper brawl, and you're like jumping on each other and injecting each other with these nano injections or something, which make the other person stronger. So you're both trying to like buff the bad guy to make them stronger, so the fight's more epic, and it's crazy. It's so good.
Fuck.
Oh,
That
man.
sounds insane.
It's so nuts. I love it.
Oh, Jake and Vicky done very well then. Two
Yeah,
very
good
good.
choices.
There's another suggestion from Vicky, but don't read out the spoiler part of it. You got it? Or do you want me to-
I have. I made notes of all this stuff, so I must have missed that little bit.
Okay, I'll read it out.
Yeah.
So Vicky also said, she said I didn't want to yabber on about Witcher 3 again, so I asked her what her favourite boss in Witcher 3 was, and she said probably when you get to kill Imlerith, the right-hand guy of the Wild Hunt leader after the massive battle at Kaer Morhen. It's probably one of the most challenging, and it's after a very emotional moment, so she was very ready to kill him.
Amazing.
That's what you like.
Yeah,
You need those,
Invested. Full investment.
Yeah. It's to be fair, when you're invested in a boss fight, it's so good. And she also said, "Oh my god, do you remember Return of the King when you have to kill the dead king?
that bit.
That was a sick boss fight."
Oh, you're taking it all from there.
Yeah, taking it from everywhere, mate. Come on.
Yeah. Return. Yeah, I had a little conversation about Return of the King as well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
When you killed, it's like
So
this
good.
bit where obviously in the film Return of the King, when you fight the Witcher King,
The Witcher King?
not Witcher King, the King that
Oh,
King
the
of the Dead,
Witch
I
King.
think. Witch King, yeah. Oh, one of them.
Witcher King?
And it's one of them ones where you watch the film and you have so much hatred for this guy, and then you end up fighting him in a game, and you can really stick that sword in his face.
Quite literally.
Yeah. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it from Vicky, yeah.
Okay. And Adam has he also commented saying Sekiro. Most bosses are amazing, specifically Great Ape. Have you played Sekiro?
No, I have seen a little bit of this fight. It was in a lot of reviews.
I've
and
heard
stuff.
of this fight as well, actually.
But he did say he doesn't want to give away too much because it'll ruin it for others. So you've gotten some other people to want to play it. There you go.
Yes.
God of War 3 Zeus was an epic battle. I've heard it's going to be quite a good battle.
Yeah, God of War 3 has some
just mention
crazy
that,
boss fights. I almost picked Kronos from God of War 3, if he remembers that.
I think God
Which
of War
was-
must just have so many. Just
Have you ever played a God of War game, Kev?
I'm not no.
That's
I've watched
insane.
someone play it before,
They're
but
nuts.
and it
Oh,
just looks
man.
mental.
Well, put it this way: Kronos, the one that I almost picked, his fingernail is about 15 times bigger than you are,
Yeah.
and you end the fight by like grabbing his fingernail and tearing it off and like flinging it at his face, and then at one point
Imagine
you climb
dying
down
to
his
a
throat
fingernail.
and you're inside him and you're like tearing him apart from the. It's absolutely crazy. Which one did he pick? Was it? Did you say
Zeus?
He picked Zeus.
Yeah,
He said, it's the end brawl against him and the final blow, and you punch him in the face, and it covers the camera in blood, which sounds pretty freaking good.
Yeah, good fights, good choices.
And then Georgia commented Sephiroth. Okay.
Oh,
did you just say, Kevin?
So many people just got so tilted in that one moment.
Kevin, what did you just say to me?
Sephiroth. What is it? Well, surely the PH is an F.
Yeah, but you said Sephiroth.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I got the O and the A mixed around. Oh no.
Right.
Difficult when I've never heard of it before.
Absolutely iconic.
That's kind of the shocking part, but yeah.
One-winged angel.
Oh, you haven't heard of Ender Dragon? Oh, that's just really sad.
I think more people would have heard of the Ender Dragon than...
Kev, Sephiroth is from Final Fantasy VII, one of the most popular games of all time.
Is it really?
Final Fantasy VII, yes.
Yeah, that's a sick fight. It's so hard, but so good.
Yeah.
You fight him in Kingdom Hearts as well, don't you?
Yeah, she mentions that as well.
That's why she said that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really understand, because I was like, surely there's only one boss you've mentioned here, but you said 2 games, but it makes sense, because it's the same boss in 2 games.
Yeah.
I think he's probably in some other games as well.
There was... I can't remember what the game's called for the life of me. The one that was on PSP, Final Fantasy...
PSP edition.
Not Tactics.
No. Excuse the typing. Sorry, one sec.
Crystal
Here
something?
we go.
No. It was called Final Fantasy Crisis Core. That was
Crisis,
it.
not Crystal. Yeah.
And it was... I loved it. It probably doesn't hold up at all to this day, but I loved it. And you fight Sephiroth in that, and it was awesome as well. So
Nice.
Sephiroth's just so cool, man. He's such a badass.
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His sword is like twice as long as he is. Some massive badass katana.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we go on to Vicky.
Oh, yeah, go on. Sorry.
Done a lovely thing for us, and she put on her Instagram story, I want to call it, asking the people that follow her what their favourite bosses were, and she got quite a few responses. So Vicky is now going to be our personal social media guru.
We've employed her.
Yeah, we've
She's
employed
officially
her.
a part of the Pickle Squad.
Yeah, she's the only one that gets paid, and she gets paid with love. So she asked. So she got a response from an Arthur who said Mr. Freeze. It's a very, very tactical boss. You always have to change the way you do damage.
In what game was
It was in Batman Arkham Asylum.
that? Okay. Yeah.
I think it was that one, because I remember that game was so good as well.
Yeah, the Batman games are really good.
Because I remember when I played it, when I completed it, the next one had just come out. But because I had literally played the entire of that Batman game, jumping into the next one, I felt like I was playing like a doubly long game. And if I'd have given it like a little bit of time in between, I think I would have finished the next one, because the next one was more of a open world, I think it was.
Yeah. Arkham
City.
Right?
Yeah. But the Batman games were sick, and Mr. Freeze. Yeah, I think Mr. Freeze is quite known to be quite a good boss.
Mr. Freeze is in City, isn't he? Arkham City.
I think it's Arkham Asylum.
I haven't played any of them. Don't shoot me.
Do you want to do your little typing again? I don't know. Whoever's played it,
Arkham City.
Oh, okay. I remember playing
Also-
Mr. Freeze.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was the best Mr. Freeze.
No, my God. do not ever, ever, ever say that again. I mean, to be fair, he's not really competing with anyone, but it's just... Have you... Oh, my God. There's a YouTube compilation of Arnold Schwarzenegger's puns in that film, and it's just... Oh, eyes to see you. You guys need to chill.
Oh my God, no way.
It's just so bad.
I need to watch that.
It's fucking horrendous.
Do you guys ever get them moments, yeah, where where something hasn't been mentioned to you in forever, or something hasn't come up to you in like for ages, and then in like the same day or in the same couple of days, you hear it so many times. So I haven't heard Arnold Schwarzenegger been mentioned in forever. Like, he's had nothing to do with me. Yet yesterday, I watched the new Terminator. And then now you're mentioning Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's entered the stream of consciousness.
He has. Somehow I made Arnold Schwarzenegger come into my life again.
Yes.
He will always be back.
Okay.
Oh man, there is just so many. It's just so good.
Should I carry on with the feedback?
Yeah, please carry on.
Alright, Nina, the lovely Nina. And Nina's always right. Ben is always wrong. She said Borderlands.
Yes, Nina.
Just Borderlands in general, and she is right. Borderlands has so many sick bosses.
Yeah, like the big blob at the end of the first one.
I had a mix between, it was either going to be that or it was going to be Cormax, what was his name? Cormarax, I think his name was, the Invincible, who was a DLC, and he was like...
He was like one-shotting you with all the tentacles and stuff.
Yeah. And when you say he was invincible, he had like one small little area that was like an eyeball on the top of his head, I think. It was like a little crab thing with tentacles. I think.
Are we talking about Borderlands again?
Yeah, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
No, we're talking about feedback. Thank you very much.
Game of the year.
Jeez. A Will said Street Fighter when you face M. Bison.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I haven't played the games, but I heard that was good.
Also, Jack of Blades, which was mentioned by both Will and another person called Noon Juan. What's his name is? I could be really wrong with that.
I want to see how this name's spelled. I want to see how badly you screwed that up.
Nun Juan?
Nun Juan.
Nun Juan. Noon Juan. Have a look. He said they both said Jack of Blades from Fable. Have you guys played Fable?
Yes, Fable. Sorry, I just had like.
I could imagine
flashbacks.
it. Yeah, I could imagine must have been quite a good one, considering both of them said it, and from what I can gather, they had no idea who each other are. So
just for the record, underneath his username, it does just say Matthew.
Oh, does it? I was looking for quite a while, but maybe
It would have been a lot easier.
I saw something in a weird squiggly writing, but I couldn't really read it. So, and then he also Will also said Ganon from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know it. All right.
What do you mean? Oh, Jesus Christ, Kevin! Why are you on a video game podcast? Jesus.
You're the one that invited me, mate.
Ganon. You've never heard Ganon?
Ganondorf.
I've not heard of either of the things.
You know who
that was just said.
Ganondorf is?
Wait, sorry, no, let's
Smash.
back up a little bit. You've never heard of Ocarina of Time?
No.
Oh my days.
This is the person that
I
suggested a few weeks ago that The Legend of Zelda would make a really good movie.
I did.
Let's
And I
let
stand
that-
by my point.
But you don't even know what Ocarina of Time is, Kevin.
Oh, was it a Zelda game?
Yes.
Why didn't
my
he say
gosh.
Zelda or Ocarina of Time?
Because you don't need to. Because
everyone knows
what
what Ocarina of Time
is.
was.
Well, I told you, I've only ever played like a little bit of one of the Zelda games. Okay?
Yeah, but great.
I heard
It'd make a
that
great
was-
movie, though, wouldn't it?
It would be brilliant. I'm still looking forward to it.
Oh my god.
And did you guys know that Will is the bassist from a band called God Eater?
Well, there you go.
There
Did you
go.
guys know that God Eater is a game? The 3rd edition was just released on the Nintendo Switch.
And there you go. Apparently,
I smell a copyright infringement.
Plagiarism.
Sorry, go on, Kev.
I mean, in terms of the bosses, that's the feedback. We have all that, but we also have our emails. Which should I go for that?
Kev, you do you, man. This is your section.
All right, cool. So first one is from the lovely Adam. Thank you, Adam. That's a very weird way of saying Adam. Thank you very much. He said he's slacking a bit behind, so he's mentioning from episode 7 and 8. He said at one point Dan's audio had a weird moment, was coming out of one of his ears, which I feel like I remember when that happened. Like you could kind of, there was like a pop, and then
I was so happy with the quality of that episode, and then that happened that it just I was triggered so hard, and I was like, that's it, I quit, I hate this project, I leave.
Happens,
the tech man Dan, as soon as it happens, that's it. No.
Yeah, we do apologise for any things like that, but I mean, to be
we're
fair,
doing this with amateur level equipment. And amateur
exactly.
level software.
Yeah, we're doing it with very amateur stuff. We've already invested this amount of time into this sort of thing, and there's bound to be a few hiccups along the way. So just bear with us, I guess.
And with that, we are setting up a Patreon.
No, we don't.
You can.
We're not setting up Patreon.
Segue.
He also said, which I agree with again, lots of Kev bullying.
Yep.
He said that Lord of the Rings was not meant to be a scary game, so it was a scary moment for the game. So thank you very much. A lot of Kev bullying. I think that needs to stop. Although he did say the Bioshock bullying was deserved, which I can agree. Like,
listening back to that was so funny, man.
I can't. The thing is though, is like. Afterwards, I watched the video of it and I'm like, yeah, it's so like iconic and it's like.
Oh, your description.
I try and like cover myself in it, and I'm just you guys are like, no, Kev, just no, it's not. He said the whole BlizzCon boycott was kind of like the whole thing has kind of like disappeared, and he thinks mainly that was because the release of Diablo 4. It's kind of like because people love Diablo, and like as soon as they released it, everyone thought, okay, no, like we love you, Blizzard, for this game.
Yeah, it was like their wild card. They were saving it for an occasion, and I think he's right on that.
Also said he thought the apology by them was rubbish. It was full of empty promises.
Yeah.
Did you guys see about this? Right. Did you guys see the apology?
Yes.
No.
So, did you notice anything odd?
That he was sweating bullets?
Apart from that?
No, I don't know. Probably.
So, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said that no company should basically have an agenda politically or something.
Uh-huh.
If you zoom in on his chest, you will see. I mean, because he's wearing a rainbow thing, a gay pride thing.
Oh.
And it's like, you're literally saying this stuff wearing that, but you're not allowed to have an agenda. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe the company isn't, but he is.
Yeah, it's kind of different though. That's like.
But then he is the face of BlizzCon, so.
But I know what you're saying, but
it's very odd for someone to stand up on stage and say that we're not supposed to have any political agenda, ideologies, basically no opinions whatsoever, whilst wearing a gay pride flag. It's just very odd.
But surely what he did, or what Blizzard did, was having their own agenda.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
As well.
You should have just worn a T-shirt that said "Made in China" in fat letters across the front.
Brilliant. Where are we up to? Ben mentioned about the Hong Kong that would die down soon because they withdrew the extradition bill that kick-started the processes, but the issue is bigger than just one bill. It's just lit the fire, and the process will continue for a while, which is... Of course.
I mean, to be fair, I did mention that just after the extradition bill got stopped, so it was a guess, not a misinformation, if that makes sense. I didn't know. I thought it might, but apparently not. So
you can't predict the future. No, everyone makes mistakes, Ben.
It's alright, Ben's blunder for next week.
In terms of the new Pokemon, have you got that yet, guys?
Dan?
Yes,
you have got it. Yeah.
But apparently there's been a lot of drama because they removed their national dex, which he does say, and I agree. I don't know the difference between a national dex and a Pokédex.
I'm happy to cover that now, or we can wait.
We'll wait for the news. If you're okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we will address that in the news, Mr. Adam.
Okay. Well, it said he agrees with Ben with the Phase Kids. which I also agree with. He's young, and it's the rules, pretty much the basis of it all.
Yeah, but he said it's not the end of the world. He's 17. Chill out.
He commented on about last week and said about the whole me raging at FIFA. He says, I remember that he was wearing earphones at the time, and that he could just hear me raging downstairs. And if he ever like thinks about rage or mentions it to anyone, that's the thing that comes into his mind. He's like, yeah,
yeah, Kevin, your FIFA rage
example.
in first year was absolutely insane. Like, it was bonkers.
Ben, it's been no different wherever I am. Okay, it's the same thing. Other than this year, because I haven't got the game still, so I've done pretty well personally. I mentioned last week that I could never imagine him rage quitting a game, but he has. Said he's rage quit Celeste when it first came out, but since then he has come back to it because we've been speaking about it, which I quite like. I quite like the idea that us talking about these games is making people want to pick up these games. So I'd like you to continue your playing of Celeste and to let us know how it is, and if you rage again, because it would be brilliant if you do.
Apparently there's some free DLC which is about 10 times harder than the actual game, so give that a go as well.
Oh, blimey.
I don't know if I can handle that.
No, I can't. I'm not even going to bother trying.
Like, do I want to play this? Oh, man, imagine me streaming this game, man.
Oh, that would be... Oh my God, you actually do... That would be so funny. Oh, my Lord.
He says, also Super Meat Boy, he rage quit one of the levels. He died over 100 times on one level.
Is that it?
Yeah, no, that would... I think I'd probably have punched some...
so Kevin is going to be streaming Celeste then.
Oh.
That would be so funny, Kevin. And if you think dying 100 times is bad, just wait till you play Celeste. Like, over 2,000 deaths by the end of the game, man.
Oh, that makes me sick a little bit. He also rage quit playing League of Legends on his own, which I think a lot of people would have. I mean, but I find playing these games on your own so boring. Multiplayer games.
Solo queue sucks.
Yeah, and you have to rely on teammates, and you can't do that in this day and age, man. There's always some arsehole letting you down. Man, I get really salty, don't I?
It's never Kevin's fault. It's always everyone else's fault.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm like perfect. He's had his rage moments on Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, haven't we all?
Yeah, like those games. Oh.
We mentioned that last week about the fact that you can die every 5 seconds. It's madness.
And occasionally he just put a hole in your wall.
Yeah.
And he also once broke his PSP. I love this, by the way, when I read this. He broke his PSP by headbutting the screen.
What was you playing on PSP to rage that hard? Jesus.
He said he can't remember. He doesn't know. But
probably
I could just imagine you being like, oh, fuck's sake, oh, no.
He didn't even throw it, he just headbutted it.
Absolute nutter, man.
That was definitely a rage moment where you don't actually intend on like breaking anything, because like sometimes when you rage, and I mean, for example, Ben, when he raged and threw his phone, like he had intentions to break that phone when he threw that phone.
I don't know if I did.
Whereas, I mean, I didn't have the intention to put a hole in my wall, but I did because I probably had some kind of intention to punch my wall. And then he said he's looking forward to joining us on Outer Worlds.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah. So that was good. That was a lovely update.
Yeah, but we were missing you. We haven't heard from you for weeks. We were starting to miss you, Adam.
I'll be honest with you, that's very much like Adam.
Even when you live with him, you don't see him for a month at a time.
And he pops up and he just brings back like all this stuff.
He just pops up with a packet of Jaffa cakes and a microwave curry, and it's like,
oh my god, those curries! This guy, he had 1 meal a day and was always a microwavable.
All right, let's not divulge the details of Adam's personal life on the internet.
And he lives at this place, all right, and it's
His surname's this.
Skinner.
Oh, that was amazing. All right, we're jumping onto Roshi's feedback.
Oh god, I think it was so good.
That was such a good impression as well.
I've got all the impressions, man. I've got Arnie. I've got the superintendent from Simpsons. All right.
All right, Roshi. I'm gonna read out the just the whole.
Yeah, hers is quite short.
It says, "Hi guys, another great episode. Since you're being so needy for feedback, let me weigh in on the China ban. Though I totally see where Danny's coming from, there is a slippery slope for a government placing such restriction on gamers. I don't believe it's a bad thing. The fact is, educating people is completely right, but unless you have restrictions, it's not going to do much, which I 100% agree with. Take smoking. There was more than enough research for years about how dangerous it was, but it wasn't until people were banned from smoking indoors did you really see a change, which I don't even think it has changed much for myself."
Oh, it has a lot.
Has it really?
Yeah, massively. Smoking's like all-time low at the moment. It's because people were Vape Nation, innit?
Yeah, pretty much. From then, tobacco companies couldn't advertise on TV, and unique packaging was completely stripped. That encouraged people to quit smoking or never pick it up in the first place. Soon, cultural attitudes begin to change too. How many smokers do you see portrayed in TV and film nowadays? It's become stigmatised through laws and restrictions. We can't wait till it's too late to do something. There are enough stories in China of parents neglecting their children, not paying bills, people having health issues, and committing heinous crimes because of gaming addictions. That I disagree with completely. The committing crimes because of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she's referring to when she says that.
I think it's just people try to blame it on games.
Yeah,
I think that's why. I think it's such
violence.
I think it's such an easy go-to thing when in seriousness. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're sitting in front of your screen playing a game, I just don't. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Sit down. The fact is, a person is more likely to do what feels good, not what is right for them. Just because you or I don't suffer from a video game addiction doesn't stop it being a problem and shouldn't stop a government body.
Hey, who says that I don't suffer from a video game addiction?
Anyways, love you guys. Is there more to this, or did you say ... Oh, there's more. Oh, Roshi. Okay, that's what it says.
Love you guys ...
She says I haven't got a video game addiction, but I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games this week. So,
damn content.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I agree that something in terms of something drastic would need to be done for something to change. I don't think just simply educating people is the way to go with it. But in my opinion, if people want to spend their spare time doing something they like, I don't know why games has to be separated from everything else.
I think if you look at it from a different perspective, for example, people of any age can smoke cigarettes in in Benji land, okay?
Aww.
I can see that loads of kids are smoking and it's causing health problems, so I'm now going to put a restriction on people under the age of 18 from smoking. I think that is their sort of, the route they're going down. They're like, right, loads of kids are getting addicted to video games and it's causing health problems and whatever else. So if we put restrictions on the under 18s, that might help, sort of thing.
Okay.
And it has helped in lots of situations, like smoking and things like that. So I guess there is that argument for it, if that makes sense. But
okay, but then why not look at it by seeing it as you, as a human...
I am a human.
In your spare time, you want to do what you want to do. Okay, whether that is go for a bike ride, whether that is painting, whether that is reading a book, playing a game, anything to do with your spare time, you should be able to do whatever the hell you want. It's your choice if you wanna, if you're gonna get health problems through playing these games. But the be all and end all, it's your spare time. I don't know why it has to be so monitored. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I feel like I do agree they do have to do something. I think something needs to be done, but I think they haven't got the right thing. I just can't imagine wanting to be in China myself and coming home thinking, oh, I've got all this free time, I can do whatever the hell I want. Oh wait, I can't do whatever the hell I want.
It's the thing that makes it complicated is basically what Ben is saying, and that's the fact that it's minors that are being restricted.
Yeah.
That's the part that makes this make a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
If it was adults, then it would be, I think, pretty black and white. Like, you can't tell an adult what to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I get that aspect of it, but again, at the same time, what Kevin's saying also makes a lot of sense. It is a leisure activity. It's not like she uses cigarettes as an example, which is an interesting one. But we don't limit how many cigarettes somebody can buy.
No, but we do outright prevent under 18s from buying them.
Yes, we do. But you can't prevent under 18s from playing a game, especially if the game has been designed, if it was Ratchet and Clank or Mario, there's nothing inherently dangerous about that game, Maybe they can be stricter on kids playing 18 plus or 15 plus games because.
But the other, I think the other side of it you have to look at as well is that they're banning online games because that's the issue. That's where these issues are arising, right? They're arising from kids spending, hundreds of hours a week playing World of Warcraft and League of Legends and whatever, and that's the issue they're trying to tackle. If they obviously, I know they can't ban single player games, but I don't even know or think they would, because that's not what the issue is. The issue is this online competitive scene that they just get completely and utterly hooked on. You look at kids now, like they even in every country, in this country, kids are just completely hooked on Fortnite, and it's completely insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand, yes, education needs to happen, parenting needs to happen, but if all of that fails, then it gets to a point where the government has to step in, and they're not outright banning it, they're just putting a time limit on it, which I don't agree with necessarily. I don't agree with the time limit aspect of it. I do agree to a certain extent with the curfew, and definitely agree with the gambling stuff. But
I agree with them.
The time limit thing is just a bit.
There's also this thing that everyone keeps saying about how China have got a bigger problem with game addiction than other places do, and there is no evidence to say that is the case.
No,
I need to remember that everything we hear about China is quite heavily censored, infused with propaganda, and everything that comes out of China, which is, as you say, is censored.
Yeah.
So we don't really know as a percentage of their population how bad it is. Some numbers say it's far less than other places because they've got such a high population, it's hard to work out. And some sources say that it's a little bit higher than most other places. But we don't really know how bad the problem is because we generally only hear bad things.
No, but then the only government that's nuts enough to actually enforce a law like this is China. Like, it's not. It doesn't matter what the rate is everywhere else because no other government would do that.
But we also need to remember that their attitude on addiction is pretty archaic. Like, it was only, I think, 2016, 2017 or something, where they were treating children with things like electroshock therapy and massive doses of anti-addiction medication, like literally pumping kids with pills to try and solve their problem with gaming addiction. And that's the root of what I was trying to get at in our last episode, is they're not going about it the right way. Their mindset on the problem is completely wrong. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they haven't framed the addiction problem properly. They're just looking at the symptoms and treating it in this super old-fashioned way that is inherently dangerous and authoritarian. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I can't imagine this was something that they just thought, hey, we have a problem, let's just instantly ban it. I'm sure there was a lot of thought and something behind it all. The only actual way they feel like they could do something is to do what they're doing. And maybe they just thought to themselves, if we're going to do it, let's just go big or go home kind of thing. And the thing is, it's so difficult to back them up because I just so don't like the idea of it. I think it's so horrible.
I know. I'm trying to look at it from a completely neutral perspective. Which is a struggle because I'm the same. Like if I was 17 and they brought this out, I'd be like, "Are you taking the piss?"
I mean, can you not save up your hours or something? imagine one day, you could go like the first 4 days without playing your 1.5 hours. You save it up for it to be, an extra 6 hours, 7.5 hours. You can play at night with your mates online.
Go on a 2-week holiday and be well excited about coming back for your 14-hour gaming session.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think that'd be cool though.
All right. Anyway,
I'm just inherently. I just want to say again, I'm inherently against any form of prohibition. I just don't think it works in any case. Sorry.
Fair.
Anyway, let's move
on. Okay. We have another response from our favourite Happy Pickler.
Woo woo!
Thank you, Happy Pickler. Welcome
Thank
back.
you, Happy Pickler.
I can't wait to hear this. Let's go.
Says, okay, don't butcher me for my my linguistic skills, okay?
Wait, hold on. Let me get it up so I can see how you read it. Oh yeah, ready. Go
Bonjour, mon petit cornicuns.
Very good.
Man. Is that even French or is that just... I don't know.
I've got no idea.
Como estas?
Not really bad.
Couldn't work out to put an accent on the O and the S.
Control Alt.
I'll be honest with you, I'm literally next to my computer and I can't see it without my glasses on, so I'm going to stick my glasses back on.
Good idea, man.
Couldn't help but put a finger to keyboards, as I can't say pen to paper, following last week's podcast.
Good.
It was so good, really
Finger
enjoyed
to keyboard. It sounds so stupid, I love it.
Loved hearing Dan laughing so much. Oh,
that's nice.
That warms my heart. There were funny memories, exciting news, interesting information bites, lively debate, and even some poetry. If in the future you ever feel you need to check my idioms, please feel free. I do try to educate whilst giving feedback.
Hold on. What does idioms mean?
Brilliant. I'm sure there must be more explosive rage moments than spoken about.
Wait, does no one want to know what idioms means?
Yeah, no, go for it. I thought I'd fill the gap while you...
A group of words established by usage a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of individual words. What does deducible mean?
Oh no.
Go on, yeah.
I agree that I can't imagine Dan having a full-blown rage episode. He is too calm and collected. I think he would just strongly disagree with the game.
Wrong! Bullshit.
So wrong.
I hope you pointed there, Ben.
I did. I pointed straight at the mic, man.
Whilst on the topic of Dan, I would like to thank him so much for finding my game. It brought back so many memories. Sadly, I have no idea how I managed to play it again, but I'll work on it.
I'm sorry. I promise I'll send it over the weekend.
Good. I think a profession in creating scenery is quite valid. You speak often about the look of a game, and a bush here and there would be greatly missed should the member of the team be absent. Great job for a failed landscaper. Oh.
Yeah. Do you guys not remember the Pokemon Sword and Shield scandal in the early footage where the trees were really low res and everyone lost their shit about it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So I think, she has a fair point. I remember having to find a shiny Mewtwo for a birthday present. Cost a fortune years ago.
I just want to get out that she spelt Mewtwo M-U-T-U.
Close enough.
Mewtwo. A shiny Mewtwo.
You get the point, man.
Yeah.
You need a happy picker alone. It cost a fortune years ago. I wonder if it has any value now. Go, Ben, look it up.
I'm looking it up, man.
I think the banning of a young man is a shame, but he knew the consequence of his action. The company is in an awkward position as to whether to lift the ban in the future. They will send out mixed messages should they choose to do so. Would the loss of this player cause the company any financial loss?
No, not even remotely.
Unfortunately, it's the actions of an immature person, and it has... Wow, it's very far away from the next line. It has cost him. I wish someone had advised him to think about what he was doing. At the end of the day, he's a young man and will move on, having learned a lesson. I feel like these days, I swear every big person has a manager, and these managers should be looking over everything they do.
FaZe should have done,
FaZe should be managing his content, really. I mean, he probably has an editor at least, and his editor should have said something about that being a dumb idea.
Yeah. I just everything nowadays. All these big people doing these things, saying these things. You just think you have a manager. They're there to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. They're there to essentially dictate your life, but you be the face of it all. But I don't know.
Mewtwo, if it was a first edition mint condition, about $2,000 roughly.
Blimey.
That can't be the one from the... Because you used to get one of the starter decks, I'm sure.
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
Regarding the restrictions China has put on youngsters, by the way, this is very... It's almost a debate between the Happy Pickle and Roshi. Regarding the restrictions China has put on the youngsters playing games, I agree with Dan. It is not the details of the restrictions that's important, but the principle. Maybe kids are playing too long into the night, which is not good for them, but having the government step in and take control of the leisure time of individuals is wrong, in my humble opinion. Oh, fair enough. There are many things we all do that is bad, but creating a nanny state is not a force for good, in my humble opinion. It's very humble today. Yeah. I believe, as does Dan, education is the answer.
Well said.
That's it. Roshi and Happy Pickler, Morrison's car park. Fight it out.
Fight.
Is the person going to be there slapping the ground again?
Holding up the boards.
Yeah.
Round one.
Suggestions for top 3 next week. The 3 games you spent the longest time playing. Oh my god.
Oh dear. That's more like a confession.
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? I think people already know where.
For 5,000 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's our next 3. Top 3 for next week.
Oh yeah.
You know what? We forgot last week's one, and we also forgot this week's one as well.
We did. I wanted to go straight into the feedback. That's my bad.
That's me done for this week. Hope to hear more rapping and more lively debate. And she's put a little symbol at the end there, which I believe is my research, which is Chinese for goodbye, and you actually pronounce it in Chinese as Zaitier.
I have no idea if
that's
right, but well done for the effort, Kevin.
Your Happy Pickler. If anyone can correct me on that, please.
The Happy Pickler is
it
one
could
of
have
them.
been.
Yeah, our massive Chinese audience will love this show. So
Maybe the Happy Pickler is Chinese. Doesn't have a Chinese name, but maybe half and half.
All Gucci, yeah.
Nice,
yeah.
Lovely feedback.
Yeah, that was amazing, man.
All the way through, that was wicked. More of that, everybody, please.
Yeah, don't worry, we've got a new social media manager now, so Vicky will be on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, yes.
Right, so
I think she's just our manager in general, is she?
Kevin.
Yes, sir.
If you know how next week we've got a top 3 for the games that we spent the most time playing.
Oh, that one. Yes.
Yeah. If people out there in the interwebs want to sort of tell us what games that they've played the most of and why, or if they just want to, just generally appreciate us and just show their love for everything that we do, all this time and effort that we put in, and if they wanted to do that, Kevin, how do they do it?
Are you guys ready for poem round 2?
What is it? Is it a new poem?
Are you serious?
Is it a new poem? Oh man, I'm so excited.
I just sat like straight up in my seat. I'm so ready.
I shall begin by saying how much we love your feedback. Stay a while and listen to how you can send us your questions. At Praise the Pickle on Twitter, if you oldies want to give that a crack, send us an email to praisetopicklepodcast@gmail.com. Maybe give us some suggestions. We do most of our activity on Facebook. We love to engage with you guys. So search us up on facebook.com praisetopickle. Give our page a look. Interact with us. We'll...
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I can't understand my
This is part of the poem. It's
Oh
part
my
of the
god,
poem.
it auto-corrected itself. That is really frustrating. Interact with us. We'll tell you the what, the wheres, and the whys. Please like, rate, and subscribe to us on whatever platforms you listen to us on. It goes a long way to creating the greatest podcast on the planet. Here's an impression of a frog, because this is the end of my section. Ribbit. Back to you, Benny. You gannet.
Kevin, you've made a grave error there, you know.
What?
You know that when you do something twice in a row, it means you have to do it every week now.
Oh, I intend to.
You're going to write a poem every single week.
I mean, you gotta work hard for the things you love.
I'm going to bring a beat next week.
Yeah,
And
no.
we'll do it in
Can we
time
actually
for the beat.
develop this into a rap? Like, so good.
Okay. I need your opinion. Yeah. So, I decided to do the feedback this time in a different format. So where last week I did them in like two of the lines that were next to each other would rhyme with each other. This time I did the first and the third, the second and the fourth, the fifth and the seventh, like rhyming with each other. So for example, I've got feedback, crack, questions, suggestions, Facebook, look, guys, wise, on, section.
That's the loosest rhyme ever.
You are clutching at straws, Kevin.
And planet and gannet.
And what? Gannet?
Gannet.
When
What's
did you say gannet?
What do you mean? When you don't know what gannet is?
No, when did you say gannet?
There's a very last sentence.
What?
Say the sentence again.
Ribbit. Back to you, Benny. You gannet.
The hell's a gannet?
I've never heard that word in my life.
It's a greedy person.
Gannet.
Did you just...
Oh, there's Kev. There is no. A gannet is a seabird.
No, it's also a greedy person. You know what? You could be a large seabird if you really want.
Gannet's definition: a large seabird with mainly white plumage, which catches fish by plunging into the water.
And what's the next one? A greedy person.
But that's informal. That's not the definition of it. But alright, yeah, fine.
You know what? It's sometimes difficult, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Alright, yeah, the rhyme. Just Kev, keep doing what you're doing. It's fine.
What one do you like? Do you like the first? Do you like last week's one? The rhyme, the first and the second one.
1, 2, 1, 2,
Yeah.
rhyme, 3, 4. Rhyme.
I think last week flowed better.
Yeah.
You know what?
noticed the rhyme more.
I really liked that one, the line. I was quite happy with this. Interact with us, and we'll tell you the what's, the wheres, and the whys. And it rhymed with "We'd love to engage with you guys."
That's quite good.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. That's some Kendrick Lamar level stuff right there.
Especially when we put
Kevin
that beat
Lamar.
on it. Oh.
All right, Kevin, me and you need to get together in the week and turn this into a bit.
Right, I'm gassed.
Honestly, all we need is just like a.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, and then Kevin just comes in with his rap.
Right, Ben,
man.
go for it. Start.
All right, wait, hold on.
I shall begin by saying how much we love your feedback. Stay a while and listen to how you can send us your questions. Okay, that's the problem with it.
Alright, so Kevin
You need
is
to
a poet
work on
and he
your flow.
has zero flow.
You
Great.
need to work on your flow just a little bit, Kevin.
I was like, there's too many syllables for this line. I can't fit it in the time.
Just do it slower, like a whole.
Work
Yeah, I
on
know,
your
I get
feedback,
that,
stay
yeah.
a while and
Alright.
listen. You know, something like that.
Anyway,
Oh.
right, we'll work on that every week. Right, by
That should
week
have been
50, Kevin's
off
going to
air.
be the next Kendrick Lamar. All right. Okay, Dan, you want to hit us with some news?
Oh, it's my section. I forgot. Hold on. Let me get ready.
When you say you forgot, I hope you mean you forgot just then and not the whole week. Cause...
I've got a few little bits. Not much though. So
You said you were gonna. There was something mentioned earlier on. Oh yeah, there's the Pokemon stuff.
yeah, I'll start with that actually.
Segway.
So,
Sorry.
where's my jingle?
Oh.
Damn.
I know, it's a bit more epic this week, wasn't it? We went for more of like a Skyrim feel.
I'm gathering samples right now.
Lovely.
I'm going to do my entire news section in rhyme. So,
Oh, bloody hell. It's just going to one-up me.
I'm not really. Pokemon controversy.
Good start, Dad. Good start. You screwed up the second word. Try again.
Right. So the game came out today. It arrived in my mail at 11 a.m. I have played about an hour of it, but we'll get to that later. So people are a little bit sad because everyone loves Pokemon, because Pokemon is the biggest franchise on Earth by quite a stretch. Did you know that? Did you know that Pokemon is literally the biggest franchise on the planet?
It makes sense. It crosses like all sort of generations and types of players and
toys and merchandise and games and TV. Yeah, it's crazy.
You think like kids now love Pokemon and adults still love Pokemon. Like it's mad. Yeah.
So people are a bit upset about the new game. So Sword and Shield was supposed to be the first ever what the term they use is a mainline Pokemon game, like full Pokemon RPG on a game's console that's not completely handheld. Obviously the Switch is a handheld, but it's still a game's console. So the reasons that people are upset are primarily the National Pokédex thing, which Adam mentioned earlier in his email. So the National Pokédex is basically an amalgamation of every Pokemon from all of the, is it 8 generations I think there is in total now?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's along the lines of 800 to 900 Pokemon in total. And every recent chapter in the games has had all of the Pokemon in it. So you can get all of your favourite Pokemon from the first generation, which is what I played as a kid, all the way through to the most voice crack. All the way through generation. And in this game, they've basically stripped out something like half of the Pokemon from the game completely. Supposedly they went through and curated the list so that the Pokemon that they've included in the game make up a nice balance of different types to keep the game balanced. So there seems to be quite a heavy focus on competitive gameplay in this edition. But obviously the caveat to that is that they've had to take out some fan favourites. So one of my favourites from Generation 1 was Squirtle. He's gone.
Oh, you mental?
Yeah, Squirtle's gone. Which means his evolutions are gone. And yeah, there's going to be tons and tons of Pokemon that people are going to go looking for and just can't find.
Let's get the 4 OGs, man. Jesus.
Well, when I heard this, I was like, but it kind of makes sense because it's Game Freak. They've never done a game of this scale before. They've never done a fully 3D game, high-res game like this before. So a lot of their resources are going towards making this feel next-gen, like modern. And because of that, they've had to remodel and reanimate all of the Pokemon and every single move that they've got, which makes up, hundreds, thousands and thousands of animations. So there's a ton of work to do all of this from scratch. So that's basically the reason that they gave. They said, look, we can't include all of them because we've put in so much time into animating each one and making it all high-res and pretty and crisp. And the most disappointing thing about all of this was when the game files got leaked a little bit earlier on, so people were able to download the game and emulate it or play it on a hacked Switch about a week ago or so. So people have been data mining. Some side-by-side comparisons and some breaking down of the files have showed that they have actually reused a lot of the models from previous games, and that's what's upset people the most, is that they've kind of lied and said, look, we're doing everything from scratch, it's all going to be fresh and new and everything's going to be really, pretty, and they've kind of cut quite a few corners. So on one hand, I get it. It is a lot of work, and they haven't had all the time in the world, and they've probably been pushed really, really hard by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company to get this out, especially in time for Christmas this year.
Yeah, that's true.
So they have been pushed really hard, and they don't have the experience of doing something like this. But on the other hand, they should have just said that from the get-go, shouldn't they? They should have said, look, we can't include all of them, and there's been no promise of adding these later. Like, I think the solution to this problem would be, okay, we can't do everything at launch, but every couple of months we'll release a packet of 50 Pokemon for free. So eventually you'll have the full codex, the full Pokedex. But no, that doesn't seem to be happening.
I think the main issue, I mean, obviously you've played it, Dan. Have you noticed the animations in fighting?
Yeah.
It's not very good, is it?
They're not mind-blowing, no.
No, they're not even animations. They're back to not back to. It's the same thing. You have your slightly moving Pokemon just swaying sort of thing, and then but you're almost like an image, and then the animation is the actual attack, but the Pokemon itself doesn't move, and it's like you're entering the next gen now. You've gone from all of your thingy games. I think. You can't say, we've had to reanimate it from the ground up and stuff like that. And that's what you have to show for it. Like, it's not very good. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but this is not me hating on them, because the other side of it as well is that you need to think, this is a company that have only made games for, handheld devices.
Yeah.
This is their first crack at it, so you can't be that mean about it. You can't say, what the fuck, man, where's my 4K shit? Like, it's not, you can't just be like, what, you expect the Pokemon to have these amazing animations, like the tackle where they like charge towards the enemy and like knock them on the floor and shit. It's like, no, you can't expect that, because
that'd be so cool though.
That would be amazing, yeah. But that's not gonna happen. It's not that, And what's really pissed me off, right, about this is that the internet's reaction to it, I think, is just sour. I just don't like it at all. I just think you guys need to have more respect for what they've done here. Like, it is still a very nice looking game, and it's still a Pokemon game on the next gen console. Right, granted, it might, because when Breath of the Wild came out, there was this meme that went out all over the place saying, could you imagine Breath of the Wild but a Pokemon game? Like those graphics and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, that would be amazing, but do you understand how much effort went into Breath of the Wild to just do that? Could you imagine then animating that many Pokemon into that world with that style of graphics and that cell shading and that? It's not going to happen, mate. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
it's the trade-off between quality and quantity in this case.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's a really hard thing for them to get right. But I think the thing that people are pissed off about is that it's the Pokemon Company. And the Pokemon Company have essentially infinite money. So it's not like they couldn't afford to outsource a lot of this work to other studios. And, they could have done this if they really invested the time to please people. But it's not Game Freak's fault. I think they've done their absolute best to make this as best as they can, and it's a shame that these things are missing. There are a ton of Pokemon that I really wish I could come across again. Just for the nostalgia element, if nothing else. And
but we are talking 900 Pokemon. That, in my opinion, that's completely saturated. That is far too many Pokemon. Like, I don't want to play a game with 900 Pokemon, and it loses its charm a bit. To be honest, it just becomes
I would have been quite happy to just play a Pokemon game with just new Pokemon and not have any of the old ones. I think the thing that people are upset about is it's got half of the old ones and not the other half.
It's just all these old snobs like, the original Pokemon's the best. Oh my god, you got rid of Squirtle. oh, and it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, people just bumming off the original 150
Well,
Pokemon. Like they're bloody.
because
How
people-
old are
Yeah,
these
and
original
it's-
people? They sounded like they're
They're
great.
our age. They're like 27. You know,
Going by
they're-
Ben's impression.
Oh, his voice. Yeah.
Oh, give me back, Pokemon.
It's all those 80-year-old Pokemon Blue players, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I. It's not a technical masterpiece, that's for sure. I think what people are missing is that it is really nice to see these Pokemon for the first time in high definition. Like, it's genuinely really nice to see these 3D models running around in all their glory. It's the first time we've had a full chance to see that in an open world type thing. So, yeah, I get it. I do understand the frustration. And this... It is bitter. People don't need to react so harshly to it. I think people should at least wait until they've played the game for a start. What annoyed me was that this all came out before anybody had even bloody played it. Like, Jesus Christ, guys, chill out. Wait 3 days, and if it's a really horrible, terrible game, then make your mind up then. And
But it was never going to be terrible. It was always going to be a good. The only thing they could have screwed up, right, is by changing the fundamental mechanics, and they haven't. They've stuck to that. So just quit your whinging, and if you don't want to play it, don't play it. But just stop raining on everyone else's parade, man. Leave them alone.
You know, they even cancelled their Tokyo launch event where Masuda was going to be there, and you know they were going to meet all the fans, and it was going to be everyone was super excited. They cancelled it because they were so worried about people.
Oh, fucking dicks,
going
man! Get a
to
bloody
backlash.
life. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. Just
That's what I mean. And I saw
Redditors. I hate
a
it.
post the other day from someone saying that at the inside of Game Freak, morale is at an all-time low. They are all genuinely super depressed about this. They've put, you know, a lot of work into it, and the internet is tearing them apart, and they're all genuinely, like, you know, broken up by it. So I feel terrible. I don't think it's fair at all. And yeah, I mean, I can say now that the graphics are not incredible,
No,
but they
But
feel
they were
like
never
Pokemon.
going to be, and exactly,
exactly.
it's stylized. That's the thing that people
Yeah.
keep like. It just pisses me off. Everyone's just like, "Oh, we wanted a Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon." It's like they're two completely different games. Okay,
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is not. It's not this world that's being completely like handcrafted, you know, molded. Like, oh, that rock looks slightly off. Let's make that rock. Let's make all the rocks by hand. We're going to, you know, engrave all of these slight details. No, it's not. It's completely randomly generated. Like, it's not. No, not randomly, but you know what I mean. Where they've just gone, right, this is a rock texture. Boom. That's what rocks look like now. Cool. You know, it's a completely different kettle of fish. If they had the same graphics in Breath of the Wild on a small scale like Pokemon, it wouldn't work as well. It doesn't work like that. The reason Breath of the Wild, I've been playing it on the way to work this week, and the reason Breath of the Wild works is because of these massive, you know, amazing, like, crazy ass, you know, like when you're flying on your glider and you can see like the sun over the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, Pokemon is a small scale game by a completely different company. You can't do that. Like, Zelda have always had good graphics. They've always had graphics above what everything else is putting out. And you can't just be like, oh, Game Freak, you need to do that now. It's like, no, you don't. Like, they don't need to do that. They want to make whatever they want to bloody make.
Like that.
It's ridiculous. It's so pathetic. Honestly, I hate it.
A mobile company, well, not mobile, but a portable games company who are taking their very first foray into an entirely new medium.
Yeah.
Like, give them a bloody chance, guys.
No,
Seriously.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
I really hope they don't take it to heart so much, and I am almost absolutely certain. Look at the generational leaps between the other Pokemon generations so far. Like, they've been crazy. Like, I remember missing a couple of generations and then seeing some footage of Sun and Moon or X and Y or something, and it blew my mind. Obviously, it was still, you know, a handheld portable game, but it was like proper 3D. It was absolutely mind-boggling. And then, like, seeing the reflections in the water in Ruby and Sapphire Generation 2 or 3. Like, they are doing their absolute best, and they are getting better and better, and next generation will be significantly better than this one. Just, you know, let them settle into it.
But what the thing that pisses me off the most, right? This is my last point. I promise.
Yeah,
is the fact. I know. Sorry, it's the fact that the focus is on the fact that all the Pokemon aren't in it. I just think that is just low. Just get a life, man. It's their bloody choice what Pokemon they want to put in it. Just deal with it.
Yeah, I'm liking it so far. I
Good.
would say that.
I'm getting it. At first, I was like, I don't know. I'm not even that like a massive Pokemon fan, but I bet it sounds kind of bad, but I almost want to get it just to support Game Freak now because
Yeah.
I hate the internet so much sometimes. I hate what they're doing here.
I hate the internet. You sound like an old man now.
Yeah. Yeah.
These kids. Alright. I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
Another game controversy. I did it twice in a row.
Controversy. Episode title, anyone?
Controversy. The other game that came out this week, I'm trying to think of another word for controversy now, so I don't have to say it again, is Death Stranding, which has been received mostly pretty well, I think.
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Obviously, there are some haters, because it's not a game for everybody.
It's probably the same people that hate Pokemon.
Games. Yeah, probably just the bitter, toxic souls that have blood made of salt.
Oh, Jesus. Bitter, toxic souls with blood made of salt. Whoa.
Welcome to Reddit. So, people are calling it a UPS simulator or a walking simulator, and it's got too many
the memes are funny, though, to be fair.
They are funny. They are well funny. I think this is a little bit less toxic than the whole Pokemon thing. It's not like hardcore fandom where people are, hating on the company. It's just like, oh, it's a shit game. Fair enough. You can think it's a shit game. That's up to you. They don't care. But the thing that I wanted to highlight in the news was Kojima's response to some of the negative feedback, which I think is one of the funniest things I've read in a long time.
I love Kojima, man. His like social media presence is hilarious.
Well, okay. I want to know if you've heard this or not, but here we go. I'm going to read it out. So he said this in an interview, actually. I thought it was a tweet, but it's not. It's an interview he said this in. I have to say that the game received enthusiastic reviews, especially in Europe and Japan. Here in the United States, on the other hand, we had stronger criticism. Maybe this is a game that is difficult to understand for a certain type of critic or audience. Americans are big fans of first-person shooters, and Death Stranding is not. It is flying higher. I will always try to create new things, and disputes and discussions are fine. But it must be said that the Italians or the French have a different artistic sensibility that allows them to appreciate this kind of very original product. So he's basically saying Americans are too stupid to understand this game.
He's so funny, man. I love him.
Oh, mate. Oh, no. The funny thing is, though, he's completely wrong. Like, the top 50 games of all time in the US, only, 3 of them are shooters, and they're not even, top 5. Like, games like Mario are in the top 5.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he's just bantering a bit, isn't he? But
I think, he's just in a bit of a troll, like he does. But, oh, mate, I just thought that was so funny. That is going to trigger so many people. Like, seriously. What do you mean Americans can't understand your Ponzi game? People are going to hate it. But I just thought that was so funny. I wanted to highlight that.
Yeah.
So
we'll get on. I've played that this week, so we'll get on to that.
Cool. All right, I'll skip over it. Star Wars came out today as well, same day as Pokemon. So far, it's been received really well. So
so I have a plan, guys.
Ooh.
I'm going to get Origin Premium for 1 month so I can play it. Because I want to play it so badly. Yeah. It's £15 a month, but if you complete it in a month, then you're paying £15 for it. So.
Are you serious? Oh, mate, no, you can't. I want to play it, though. Can I just come and live at your house and play it together? All right, we'll talk about that later. Oh, awesome. Okay. We also had Xbox 2019 live event yesterday, XO19, but I think we're going to talk about that another time.
Yeah, we're gonna release a sort of specialish podcast for that because it was a good show, man. Like if you don't want to listen to the thing.
Amazing. It certainly blew my mind in places, but there was no Halo.
So can you guys hear that squeaking?
Yeah, that's your cat in the background.
Sorry, yeah. Let me just go shoot my cat. 1 sec.
Jesus, man.
It's okay. He does it all the time. He gets a new cat every week.
Imagine that. He's just got a pile of dead cats in the corner.
Yeah, this is who you're dealing with.
The only one that's managed to live and not do that is Gizmo.
Hello, we were just saying nice things about you and how you treat your cats.
Oh, good.
So 2 other little things then. quick tidbit for some of the tech industry people out there.
That's me. Go on.
Top Oculus guy.
Can I say that I heard a little thing from a little someone said something about I think you were saying before that there was two new. Oh, it's gonna sound really bad. I don't really know that much.
I can't wait for this.
Two new, I want to say things, okay? Where I think it starts with Intel. Obviously, that they were the leaders, and then there's another one that's coming up.
AMD.
Might be that, and they've released some new one, and the AMD one's meant to be like much better than the Intel one or something.
Are you talking about so AMD power most consoles? Is that right, Dan?
Correct.
Yeah, so AMD are basically on the rise now because consoles are on the rise. Well, not on the rise, but
it's more to do with
their... Yeah.
They were the first to the market with 7nm architecture, which is basically smaller dies, which means you can get more processing power in the same physical space.
I was just about to get onto that, but sorry, you can have that one.
Okay, Kevin, what were you going to say?
Isn't it? I thought that's what you were going to say.
That's kind of old news, to be honest. Like, it's been going on for a while
we
now.
Don't like old news, so let's carry on with your news.
Good input, Kevin. Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Kev. Yeah,
it's a good segue back to the main point.
It's not a segue if you.
Shush. Okay.
Go on.
Complete divergence. All right. So, John Carmack, he's one of the Oculus executives who works in the VR front of Facebook. He stated that he's leaving Oculus, who are doing really well at the moment. So this is kind of a surprising thing that came out of nowhere. And he's leaving to work on AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. So let me clarify that. So the difference between artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence is artificial general intelligence, AGI, is basically the same level of intelligence as a human, the same level of adaptability, the same ability to process language and explore different ideas, whereas artificial intelligence is intelligence that's designed for one specific reason. Like, you could build an AI that would establish how to
brush someone's teeth.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But an AGI would be able to do that, but also make the perfect toast, or manipulate the stock markets.
I mean, whoever can figure the perfect toast, I will sign you up. If you can butter it as well, then.
Interesting tidbit. You don't hear much about AGI in the tech world unless it's like some random conversation that people are having. The fact that he's leaving Facebook to move into this industry is, I think, a very interesting thing to be happening right now.
Even Facebook?
But yeah, Oculus.
Facebook own Oculus.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
There you go. Last thing then, Stadia is launching 19th, I think.
Whoa.
Exactly. So people are a little bit upset.
A little bit. This is one side of the internet that I do agree with.
Well, yeah. We all kind of saw this coming, though. This isn't even a surprise. So Stadia, again, Google's new video game streaming service that runs on their state-of-the-art architecture, data centers, blah, blah, blah. When they first did the announcement show, which was a pretty long show, they talked about all sorts of really interesting features. And none of them are really going to be there. Like, we've got 12 games at launch, which are a bit
naff.
Yeah, I'm not even going to list them. They're pretty crap.
What's the biggest one?
So I'm going to tell you which things are not there, bearing in mind that they announced that all of these things would be on Stadia. So there's no achievement system. There's no Buddy Pass service sharing feature. There's no...
what? Sorry, what?
At launch. This is all at launch, they're saying. No, so this might come later.
Wait, Buddy Pass sharing?
Yeah.
That's something that comes with the premium package that you buy.
Yeah, it's not going to be available at launch.
Oh, fantastic. Good stuff, man. Good job, Google. Smashing it.
Why release the bloody thing, Matt? Oh,
it's ridiculous.
There's more. There's no family sharing. There's no Stream Connect multiplayer support, which is the thing that allows you to integrate your game with your stream, your Twitch, or whatever. There's no universal 4K streaming. There's no 5.1 surround sound. There's no HDR. And another thing that I haven't written down here, but I just remembered, is if you want to buy games on Stadia, regardless of what system you're using Stadia on, you have to do it through your phone. So you have to have a phone that allows you to connect to the Stadia services, as well as your Chromecast or your TV or your laptop or whatever you're using. So just bear that in mind if you're one of the the people that are gonna give this a go.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's basically going to come out with the most basic features, 1080p.
If they released this yet and they said this is almost a tester, this is almost just like we're releasing it just to see what people the core basis of this.
But that's what they did last year.
Like it.
They called it what did they call it? The Google streaming service or something that had a really generic. Oh god, my Google phone is now transcribing everything that I'm doing.
Oh god, it's gonna report back to the CEO.
Yeah, so this is what they did last year though. So basically, the state that it's being released in on the 19th is almost exactly the same as it was in the beta last year, the Stream Connect, whatever it was called. So yeah, basically it's moved nowhere, and you still have to, sign up. The free version I don't think is coming straight away. It's premium only on the 19th. And then obviously on top of that, you have to buy your games, which you don't even own.
All right, so let me get this straight. The premium service, you pay £120, yeah?
Yeah.
And you get the controller and the Chromecast Ultra. And these are the things, right? I'm gonna list out a few things off the top of my head that they basically that come with that package, right? Access to the 4K Ultra HD HDR service. So that's not at launch.
I think that may work on the Chromecast Ultra only, I think.
But the HDR is not available.
Right.
Cool, so that's HDR, one thing. Buddy Pass system, the whole idea was one person pays £120, gets the thing, and you can give that to someone else, the Buddy Pass, yeah? That's not going to be at launch. None of those things, which were the only selling points of Stadia, all of those aren't available. So the save state thing isn't available either. And you can upload your save to thing. That's not available. The stream share thing, where you're supposed to be able to play with your things, that's not available. You need a phone? What the fuck is that all about? It's Google, for Christ's sake. How can you not just sort out a bloody system without needing a phone? That's just bonkers, man.
The funniest thing that really ties this whole story together was that this news came out basically the same day as Xbox talked about their latest on their... what's it called? The Xbox streaming service again?
Project xCloud.
xCloud. So they're going to have 50 games at launch, and most of them are pretty damn good. And also, I don't know if you heard this, Ben, but xCloud is going to be tied into Xbox Game Pass.
Yep.
Which is absolutely crazy. And we'll talk about that in the other episode. About how Game Pass is literally changing everything right now, and it's going to get so much better.
Honestly, Google, if Google weren't Google and they were another company, they would be shiting themselves right now. Okay, listen to this. Okay, so basically, pretty much the entirety of Xbox Game Pass is going to be available on xCloud, right? That's pretty much what the gist I got from XO19. Yeah. This is the launch lineup for Stadia, and can I just emphasize that you don't get these games. You have to buy these games after you get the Chrome.
For full price.
For full price. So after you buy this £120 package, you get Destiny 2 for free, which is free to play now anyway, might I add. And then you get, these are the launch lineup games. Prepare yourselves. Prepare your ear holes, everyone. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Just Dance 2020, even though Stadia has no camera or motion controls, so don't know what that's all about. A game called Kine, never heard of it. Mortal Kombat 11, that was great last year. Red Dead Redemption 2, that was great last year. Samurai Showdown, what the fuck is that? Thumper, that was great 5 years ago. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, that was great 7 years ago. Basically all the Tomb Raider games, but don't worry, guys. They are the definitive editions of those games. So if you're, it's just utterly shocking. Like They have dug themselves a grave so freaking deep. It's unreal.
But the only way is up.
No, this is going to go down.
Madonna
Honestly,
used to say.
this is going to go down in
Say.
history as one of the biggest flops in gaming history. I can't wait for this to all pan out. It's just going to be so funny.
It's going to be like akin to the Nintendo's Virtual Boy or something.
Yeah.
You know, the first VR headset that gave people migraines within 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's just insane. I cannot believe that they're doing this. This is Google. We're talking about Google. They have like the most money in the freaking world. Nearly, probably not. But they have a lot of money. Like a lot of money, right? And this is their launch lineup. Are they taking the piss?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing new on here at all. The only new game is Guilt. That is it. And Just Dance 2020. Woo.
Damn, can't wait.
That is it. Those are the two games that are new. That's it. That's their launch lineup.
This episode is sponsored by Google Stadia.
Honestly, Nintendo Switch came out with one game or two games. It came out with 1-2 Switch and Breath of the Wild, and they already won. Do you know what I mean? Because they brought out an exclusive game, an exclusive full, really good game. These games are good. Don't get me wrong. Some of these games are very good, but they're all very old, and most people would have played them already. I don't get it. I do not understand what they're doing at all.
You know when we're like 50 or 100 episodes down into this podcast, we need to have like a top 10 best Ben rage moments. Every single episode, he gets so passionate and angry about something.
It's just shocking. I can't believe this is happening. Honestly, I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone or something, that this is actually a thing. It's unbelievable. Alfie, go away. I know Charlotte's not here, but just go away. You're annoying. Cool. That's Stadia. Anything else?
Ben bullies his cats. No, that is all from me.
Nice.
Wunderbar. So,
I'm leaving now. See you later, guys.
Bye.
I didn't forget this week, Kevin.
Yay, learning.
Kevin, hit us with the games that are coming out this week.
So, I wasn't an idiot like I was last week. I've actually got everything in front of me. It's all ready. It's all prepped. So we're doing this week from the 17th, 18th.
I thought
18th.
we were... Oh, okay.
18th to the 25th. So, on the 19th, we have 5 games coming out. Start with Shenmue, which is going to be Shenmue 3. Which is going to be on PC, PS4.
Do you know what this is, Kev?
It continues the teenage martial artist Ryo Hakuzuki's quest to find his father's killer in 1980s China.
Kevin, have you ever heard of Shenmue?
Yeah, they had Shenmue 1 and 2.
God almighty.
Shenmue 1 was good.
Shenmue 1
And,
was good.
okay, alright, this one, yeah? Are you ready? Zumba, burn it up. And work, and work, and Zumba, and Zumba, and work, and work.
Right, that's enough of that. Let's keep going.
Alright. Which is coming out on Switch.
That was
It's everyone's favourite game that's coming out. I mean, I'm sure everyone was looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
You guys are going to be buying on day one.
Yeah.
Chinese kids could only play it for 90 minutes a day.
Oh, see, these Chinese kids could be really fit and healthy, but the
I
government.
mean, if you did Zumba for 90 minutes a day, I think you'd be alright.
But they could do it for longer. Or they could play their games for 90 minutes and then could be playing Zumba or doing Zumba later, but they can't because.
Well, they can
governments and
because
stuff.
it's not online, so it's fine.
What's
Shut
next,
up.
Kevin?
Narcos: Rise of the Cartels. On all
Narcos.
platforms.
But yeah, nice.
I thought. Alright.
I don't think it's
by
Narcos.
Kuju.
Is it Narcos?
No,
or
it's Narcos.
Oh, that's how everyone says it, like the TV program Narcos.
Who's everyone? Because it's Narcos.
Everyone's I've spoken to.
Well, everyone you've spoken to is wrong.
Narcos is the plural of narco. Right.
Oh, well there you go.
A narco is anyway, carry on.
It features 2 unique campaigns. Allows you to see the war from both sides. You got to choose to side with either the DEA and fight alongside Steve Murphy to bring down the drug empire, or choose to side with Narcos in order to help grow and expand the empire under the watchful eye of the El Patron. That sounds quite cool, actually.
Does sound quite good. I don't know what it'll be like. If it's based on the series, it'll be crap. But
the best game coming out this week, which is Football Manager 2020, it's coming out on PC.
Right, you skip that one. Next.
Munchkin Quacked Quest is coming out by Asmode. You have to rediscover the parody, puns, and humour from the hit card game Munchkin. Gather gold, throw your foes and friends into sacrifice pits, collect ducks, eliminate the monsters, and reach the highest level to win the game. Sounds like a game for the happy Pickler to play because she likes collecting eggs and ducks and stuff, doesn't it? This one I'm assuming is pretty big. Children of Mortar.
Can't wait.
On a Switch by Dead Mage.
It's not that big actually. It's an indie title, but
yeah, I mean, I've heard you guys talk about it. So
yeah, we're pretty hyped about this one.
yeah, I mean, Ben's so ecstatic that he's not even talking.
Sorry,
I think he's fighting his cat. I think.
I was fighting
if anyone
Charlotte, not the
doesn't
cat.
know,
Did you say Children of Mortar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm well pumped, man.
Physical edition, please.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, it's a story-driven action RPG about an extraordinary family of heroes lead the Bergsons with all their flaws and virtues against the forthcoming corruption.
It's also a pixel art dungeon crawler roguelike type game.
Hell
There
yeah.
you go.
To use all the complex gaming terminologies.
November 21st, we've got 2 games. The first being Black Future 88. It's coming out on PC and Switch. It's a cyberpunk roguelike 2D action shooter. Vertically climb an always evolving procedural tower to reach the top and kill its insane owner before your heart explodes.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That's pretty
Interesting.
wacky.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk as well.
By Super Scary Snakes. And then The Tourist, which is a Switch only. It's an action adventure puzzle game. It's got a very cool art style and it's described as blocky and voxel. For any of you people out there who have any idea what voxel means?
Voxel is like Minecraft, basically, like 3D pixels.
Or it's a station on the Southwest train line.
It's not spelled like that. It's VOXEL, but that was good. I like it. November 22nd, we've got 4 games coming out. The first, Lost Ember, is coming on out on everything but the Switch by Moon Eye Studios. It looks cool. You can fly, swim, dig, run, explore the mysterious worlds and story of Lost Ember through the eyes of different animals, which I think actually sounds quite cool.
This looks really cool.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is a big one, Doom 64.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's yeah.
Is it not? I thought Doom would be pretty up
It
there.
will be for a lot of people, but it's not. It's more of a placeholder until the next big Doom game arrives. Really.
Is this the one that Jake was saying about the music coming out for?
No.
No, that's
Oh,
Doom
okay.
Doom
Eternal.
Eternal, which is next March now. So.
Oh, okay. We've got Sniper Ghost Warrior Contacts, which is basically...
Contracts, Kevin. Contracts.
What did I say?
It's a game about a sniper that lost his contact lenses.
I swear I said contracts.
No, you said contacts.
Oh. Well, you can fulfill contacts
No.
that offer...
What?
I said contacts deliberately.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's basically a sniper game. You just sit back and you snipe everything.
But your vision's really blurry.
yeah. You can't actually see.
You guys just... I want to slap you both.
Oh, man.
And then this is one for Adam coming out. Sid Meier's Civilization 6. The
Wait.
next iteration of the Civ games. Coming out on Xbox and PS4.
See, this is what happens when we try and record an hour earlier.
Yeah, our words get all...
Yeah.
Isn't Civ 6 out on PC already, and now it's coming?
It's coming out on Xbox and PS4, yeah.
Cool.
Just in case Adam decided to want to play it on them. I don't know why you play Civilization like that on anything but the
No,
PC.
I don't know why you play Civilization. That's it.
Damn. My
Right.
guy is on one.
Right, moving on. That you done, yeah?
OEE.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin, for
Did,
that.
did I get everything?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So, I put a bit of effort in. Like,
Yeah, Kevin's performing, man. Dan, you need to step
honestly,
up the game.
I'm getting really, I get well excited about these podcasts, and during the week doing them, and it's all just...
Whereas Dan, we'll get to Friday afternoon and Dan will just be like, yeah, I'm ready. I ain't done any news. I don't know what the top 3 are.
I'm winging it.
Yeah. So Kevin's getting a raise. So
Yay.
let's move on to what we've been playing. Do you want me to quickly breeze through mine? Because
You said you had like 8 games or something.
Yeah, so but basically I've been commuting to work, so I've got like 3 hours extra on the Switch every day. So
I don't know how you do it with those buttons. It drives me crazy.
I have noise cancelling headphones, so it doesn't bother
I
anyone.
heard, I saw someone playing the Switch the other day on a train, and you literally couldn't hear a single thing.
Okay, okay. It's just my anxiety. Carry on.
Yeah.
Right. To be fair, I can probably not even talk about most of these. Right, I'm going to quickly breeze through 6 of them. Overwatch, still love and hate it. Downhill Lonely Mountains, still love it. Zelda Breath of the Wild, finally started playing it again. My God, that game is amazing.
Told you.
Yeah, I can't believe I stopped playing it. I kept saying, oh, I'm not really getting on with it. And now that I'm actually sitting there on a train and have nothing else to play, it's just like, oh...
Yeah.
Just a few scenes, man. Like I was flying over like this ocean I mentioned earlier, but like flying towards this tower over an ocean, and then there was like the sun just like rippling on the water, and it's such a beautiful game. And it looks better than so many like PC and AAA games out there. It's insane.
My jaw literally dropped when the first lightning storm came over. I think I was gliding as well, and the lightning just started rippling through the clouds, and my jaw just dropped. It blew my mind.
It's amazing, yeah. Katana Zero, finished it. Very, very good.
Good lad.
Yeah.
I know. I almost bought it yesterday, and the sale's gone, so it's gone back up to 15 quid or something.
It's 13. It's still worth 13, I'd say.
Yeah,
but if you're not going to play it on a commute, then basically buy it on PC because you can get it for like 5. So, yeah, very, very good. Very interesting story. Not really much else to say about that I haven't already said. It's just a lot of fun, very much like Hotline Miami. Planning out your attacks and stuff's really good, and it's really satisfying when you execute it right and stuff. So yeah, me and Charlotte played a bit of Mario Odyssey yesterday. I did not realise there were as many moons as there are, so we finished the game the other week, and we're like, yeah, basically done it. We'll go back and get the last few moons. And you speak to Toad at the end, and he's like, oh, we've made a log for you which shows all the moons. It's ridiculous. There are so many. There's like maybe 500, 600 moons or something. It's insane.
Jesus.
Like it's honestly bonkers.
And some of them are like crazy hard to get as well.
Yeah. But we're determined to get through it. We're like, we haven't 100% of the game in ages. Let's do it. So we're going to give that a whirl. And Resident Evil Revelations 2, I've played a bit more of, and I got past the bit that I was stuck on. I don't know if I mentioned.
Oh, good lads. Yeah, the cell prison.
Yeah. So I got past that bit, and basically the game splits off, and you play as Claire Redfield and a girl called Moira, and then in like chapter 1, and then in chapter 2 you play as Barry and some other girl, don't know who she is, and it's really interesting because they all have like certain abilities, and you can switch between the characters. So like when you're playing as Barry, the little girl that you play with can basically like sense the zombies through walls and stuff, which is really cool. So like you play as the girl sneaking around, trying to sneak around the zombies, and then she will see that there's a zombie with his back turned. So then you switch back to Barry, and then Barry goes in there and like silently takes him out and stuff. It's really good. But again, I'm at another bit in the game where I have to fight the enemies and have no ammo. So I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure it out. I'm sure. I know. My ammo conservation's just been shocking in that. And then the 2 new games I've played this week. So I picked up a game called Axiom Verge on the Switch. Paid like a tenner for it for the physical edition, which is very good. And it's wicked, man. It's like Metroidvania, like no, not even Metroid. It's like Metroid Prime, basically, like a space sort of 8-bit, 16-bit, 37-bit game where like all pixelated style, but you play with like all these like lasery weapons and stuff, and the boss fights are really cool. It's quite simple, but it has this really cool, like almost like deep bass 8-bit soundtrack. Does that make sense?
Nice.
So like there's like really heavy bass, but then with like stuff over the top of it. So it's mad. Yeah, but I'm loving that as well. It's really hard, to be honest.
I kind of want to buy it just for the cover art because I love that image on the cover of that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff in the games like that as well, to be fair. But if you're trying to play for Hollow Knight now, don't play it because going from Hollow Knight to that is not great. And then finally, I've been playing Death Stranding. I've played the game for... Okay, let me rephrase that. I've had the game on for about 5 hours, and I've played for about an hour. Cutscenes.
There's just a lot of them.
So many of them.
Oh, Kojima,
yeah.
You just get bored after a while, wouldn't you?
No, I love it. I love it so
is that
much.
what... you actually literally mean you've been playing it for 5 hours, but because...
Yeah, so the game has been on for 5 hours, and an hour of that is playtime.
You meant... Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is very good. I love it. I love the fact it's not a shooter. I love the fact that it's not an RPG. It's not. It's its own thing entirely, and I love that so much. It's so interesting going into a game like that. Like not hate, but people are going, oh, it's UPS simulator, and it's just like. But it adds a new mechanic that has never been in a game before. A mechanic of balancing.
Isn't that where you're like carrying everything all the time?
Yeah. But no, it's not. It's not like it. Basically, the idea is that you're playing as a porter and you're trying to reconnect America. So there's basically been this like post-apocalyptic. You're in a post-apocalyptic world. As big things happened, and essentially, what they're trying to do is reconnect America so that you can start sharing information and like. Recreate society again, because at the moment all the towns in America are disconnected. So I think I've only just really started the proper game. I feel like I've done the prologue. That's it, really. I've technically done chapter 1 and 2 as well, but like I've only just sort of got out. They've said, right, this is what we're doing. We're reconnecting America. This is what America looks like. These are all the towns, and here's some key things. Basically, we want you to get to all these towns and set up the chiral network, which basically it's basically like. I am Bill Gates or whatever, and I need to restart the internet. That's my objective, yeah. But it's really interesting, the mechanics. So the thing that I love about it is that this mechanic has not really been in anything ever, and you basically it's a game of balance, like literally balancing, so standing up. So, you put parcels and stuff on your back and in your hands and stuff, and you need to balance them out, because if you're out of balance, then you'll start falling over and all sorts. And then it has that aspect that I mentioned last time about, different people can leave bridges and ropes and stuff for you, and then you get likes, which is currency, letting you buy more stuff. So, like, you see that the trailer when he's got a motorbike, you have to buy a motorbike, basically. And then when you get a motorbike, you can use the motorbike to get from A to B, and then you can leave the motorbike for other players, and they can use the motorbike, and then they give you loads of likes because, oh my god, this guy's left me on a motorbike. And like, it's really.
When you say other players, you mean other online players?
Yeah, no, but it's not online, so it's.
Well, it is online, but you don't see the players.
Yeah, so it's a shared. The world is shared, but you are the only person in each instance of that world. It's really interesting. So if I leave a motorbike,
how can you leave a motorbike for someone else if that's not in the game?
Because the world is online, so everything that happens in that environment is online. So if I put up a bridge,
how pissed would you be if you see a motorbike and you're like, and then it just drives off and there's no one actually on the motorbike?
I don't know how that works, to be fair, but
I was thinking about that actually.
Yeah.
It's a ghost bike.
Yeah, so but. It's quite interesting, the depth of it as well, and story-wise, I'm just intrigued. And they have said so many made-up words in the first 4 or 5 hours. It's mad.
You liking it, are you?
Huh?
You liking it, are you?
I'm liking it. I'm looking forward to getting my teeth sunk into it. The issue is that I don't have that much time. Oh fucking hell. This is what happens when the podcast. I don't have that much time to play during the week because I can't play it in anything less than like a few hours because I literally turn it on and it's just cutscenes and then I'm like, okay, that's my gaming time over. Might as well just watch the movie. But I'm loving it and I will complete it 100% before Game of the Year because it could be up there maybe, but I don't know yet.
It's going to be difficult to beat Borderlands 3.
It's not happening. That's my games for the week. Kev, go on, Kev.
Decent. I'm going next.
Yeah.
Mine are very boring. I completed Borderlands.
Finally.
Boss battle at the end.
Should I just go now?
It's epic. I'm not going to say that much into it, but I am going to say right now, you did have a little ruin for me moment last week there, Dan. You said to me, because we played last week together, you said to me, have you gotten to the... When you jumped in, you said to me, have you gotten to the bit where you fight the guy, like the boy?
Oh no!
And I was like, well, obviously not, because me personally, I thought that was going to be the last boss. But
You're talking about the bit that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Oh god, you guys with your cryptic talking about Borderlands.
Well, but basically, Dan.
I'm sorry, Kevin,
mentioned one section like last week when I thought that was going to be the final boss battle. Actually, turns out it wasn't the final boss battle, and a whole joke that was made in all that got ruined for me because I thought it was the last boss, and I knew it wasn't the last boss. I don't know. Either way, was sick. Absolutely loved it. And I still need to go back and complete all the side quests. The other one, Overwatch. Been playing with you guys a lot. You all suck.
Yeah, we do.
And then Outer Worlds, which I want to play so much all the time, and I'm honest to God, they need to make weeks longer than 7. They need to make days longer than 24 hours. It is not fair.
It's good,
It's
isn't
just,
it, Kev?
honestly, every single Friday I get to it and I think to myself, where's the time gone? It's been a whole week and I've had no time to do anything.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I think it sounds weird, but I think it's because the podcast, we record it on the Friday, and then the weekend you don't really think about it that much, and then it comes out on Monday, and then it only feels like kind of like 4 days, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. But with Outer Worlds, I'm going to say this right now. The fact that we have to complete this is kind of ruining part of it for me, because I love doing all the side quests and stuff, and I'm not going to be able to do all the side quests and complete the game.
Yeah.
I will spoil one thing, and I've said this already. When you end the game, you cannot go back. I have heard that much.
Okay, so in that case,
I would say
really,
that although we said that we should complete it 100%,
I don't think we should.
I think we should take us saying that as an incentive or a motivation to get really into it. But now that we're all into it, we can just take it at our own pace. I think as long as we get a good enough amount of hours, then it's fine. So Kevin, just play it at your own pace, your own speed. Do whatever you want to do.
I mean, I've just completed like one small section, and it was a side quest, and it took me like at least a good day or two to do it because I just had.
Don't rush for it. I've played some wicked side quests in that game.
Yeah,
it's taken me ages. I don't want to force anyone to rush for it. To be honest, it just ruins it.
Yeah.
But either way, if no one has played Outer Worlds, on this to Lord Almighty, get that game. It is so much fun, so good.
It's definitely so like good. That is definitely a Game of the Year contender, in my opinion.
Close second to Borderlands.
Oh my god.
You know what? Considering I've played both, and you guys are both on either end of the spectrum, I'm going to leave mine to when it comes to Game of the Year, my opinion on what I prefer.
Well, I'm not saying Outer Worlds is my Game of the Year, to be fair.
I know, but it's... Anyway, that's literally all the games I've played this week.
Cool.
Dandy boy?
Where are you up to on Outer Worlds?
I've... Like, since... I think
what area are you in?
I'm still in the ground Oh no,
bloody hell.
wait! I went to another. I like picked up a distress signal,
Oh yeah.
and I'm in the middle of doing that distress signal,
Ah, cool, yeah.
which I'm guessing is still quite near the beginning. I've only done a very few handful of main quest things.
That's alright.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I've played Overwatch with you guys, obviously. You guys both suck. That's how people play Overwatch, right? They just blame everybody else. What else have I played? I haven't written this down, so I'm just trying to think quickly. I played a little bit more of Link's Awakening, but not much, so I don't really have much to say. And to be honest, I feel like that's going to slow down even more now because obviously I got Pokemon today, and I've played a bit of that.
What did you think of that so far?
I haven't had much chance to play, but I've got to the wild area, which is what everybody's talking about, which is where you can rotate the camera around and you have like a full 3D RPG experience. I really like it. I do. Like, it's flawed. It's so flawed. Like, it's clunky at times, and some of the textures suck.
But it's Pokemon.
Yay!
But it's more than that. Like, it's fun finding the new Pokemon. It really is, and there's some really cool ones. Like, one spoiler, I guess, there is a little fox called Nickit, Nickit. And I feel like it's probably not, but I feel like it's a direct reference to Swiper from Dora the Explorer.
Mate.
Swiping.
Swiping. Oh, man!
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool, nick it. Like that's because obviously it's going for the whole English thing, and yeah, just nick it. That's a proper English term, you know, like a proper common English term. And I read the description. It's literally a fox that steals things. So yeah, it's dead on. It's definitely
Swiper, man.
But I must say, like, the environments are really nice. As bad as they are texture-wise in certain places, I'm really excited about getting into it. Like, I walked into the first store where you can customize your character. Didn't like any of the clothes that they sold.
I mean, to be fair, the clothing has always been horrendous in Pokemon games. Like,
but this is kind of exciting though, dude. Because like, I walked outside and spoke to one of the people outside because I was like, "Oh, that's so disappointing. There's no good clothes in there." And then the person outside was like, "Oh, don't worry. Like, I know this store only sells like loafers and shit, but every town in this game has a completely different style of clothing that you can go." I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. I can like actually go shopping in these different places." And the way the camera's set up, although you can't rotate in towns and things, when you're walking around these quite hilly environments, you can see the way they put the camera is you can see all the different landmarks in the distance, so you can kind of see the scale of stuff and the rolling hills.
Yeah.
The way you move around the environment and see the Pokemon respond to you and interact is really cool. I'm well excited. I'm hyped to finish this podcast and play. To be honest.
Don't worry,
might be recording another one afterwards. So
What was that? What
might be recording another one afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Xbox. It was really good. See you. Bye guys. No, I'm really hyped. Should I tell you what starter I picked?
No.
Do you know what starter you're gonna pick?
No.
Okay.
But I don't want to know what you've picked because then I feel obliged to pick something different.
Fair point. Actually, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Yeah, pick whatever you think's best. Yeah, it's cool. Obviously, there's no voice acting. It's all reading text, old school. The UI is lovely. Really awesome.
Yeah, it looks
UI.
really nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's really slick. Quality of life features are really nice. I've already been like one-shotted by a giant onyx that I found in the environment. I was like, I'm going to walk up to it and fight it, and it just destroyed me. Yeah, that's super excited, and it starts off pretty good. The environment's really interesting and unique, and mate, yeah, I'm looking forward to you guys playing it because I want to talk to you about it.
Kevin won't be, but yeah. Oh, me and Charlie. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
All right, I
sorry,
clicked.
I don't think Kevin's the biggest
Cheap
Pokemon
shot.
fan, are you, Kev?
What are you on about?
Are you?
I'm up there. I played I think the most recent one I played is the
Pokemon
MMO
Coliseum.
on PC.
Oh.
Oh, you did play the MMO, didn't you?
Cool. Okay.
Right, that's it. We're done.
Sweet.
So,
Aww.
right.
Have a whole week to wait.
I know, one whole week. But
I mean, technically it's like 10 seconds because we're going to start the next one, but still.
that's true. Right,
I'm not
next
going
week.
to say anything in that one.
Next week. Kevin, stop talking. Next week, we're going to be doing our top 3 of the games we have spent the most time playing. Then at the end, so also around the same time as this podcast, maybe midweek, we haven't decided yet, the XO19 special will be out. So we're just going to talk about our impressions and the announcements that were made for their conference.
Hype
Indeed. And then at the end of the month, we will be recording a special Outer Worlds podcast. Kevin, what have you come up with any more names for it yet? I'm going to ask you every week until you find a good one. Go on.
Moonlight that game.
That's not it. Should we try again?
Oh, game in a month.
Terrible. Any more?
Crackers with cheese is best with meat.
I am so down for that one. I like it.
That's not happening. Fantastic. Crackers
Why
and
have I
cheese.
got to think of it? Why me?
Because eventually you'll come out of gold. If I ask you every week, eventually you'll figure out a good name.
What if we do it in like a different accent, like James?
Yeah, and how would you spell that?
Yeah, go on.
Games.
So people would just call it James.
No, games. Damn, games.
Oh, James. I'm going to sleep now.
Anyway, yes, so the lovely Adam will be joining us, whose surname will not be mentioned at the end of the month, and we're all going to talk about Outer Worlds and do a lovely moonlight of said game, whatever the hell that means. And that's it, we're done. So,
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
if people want to tell us how much they love us and just share their opinions and all the things that we've spoken about today,
Yes.
or just tell me that I'm cruel to my cat, or
You're cruel to
maybe
your cat.
maybe just tell Dan that his opinions on Pokemon are wrong, or
How dare you.
maybe just tell Kevin that he needs to play some games other than Overwatch.
No.
Kevin,
Yes.
how do they do that?
Do I do the poem again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can I have a little countdown or a little tune down?
alright, you got a beat, you ready?
Oh, okay. I'll
good.
give this a go.
Yeah, it's going to be slower this time, though.
I'll
Okay.
do some ad libs. Uh-huh.
I shall begin by saying how much we love your feedback.
Keep going.
Stay a while and listen to how you can send us your questions. At Praise the Pickle on Twitter if you oldies want to give that a crack. You know that? Wait.
Oh,
you know
come on.
Sorry, I'm terrible. You know that that video? It's like the Christian rap thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, remember.
I just remembered what you were talking about.
That's because Jesus Christ is my... So good. Alright, anyway, no one's going to even know what the feedback things are, so Kev, just list them out.
Basically, on Twitter, it's at Praise the Pickle. Email is praisethepicklepodcast@gmail.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/praisethepickle. Or on Instagram, which I need to include again for next week, is Praise the Pickle Podcast.
That's just Praise the Pickle.
Praise the Pickle. And we'll get our manager to start posting some stuff.
Yeah.
Vicky.
So get involved, answer some questions that we post out, send some feedback, love us just as much as we love you, maybe even a little bit more because we can't love you all that much in reality.
That's very true.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone. This has been the Praise the Pickle podcast. This is the best podcast in the world.
Peace
Goodbye.
out. Pickle, 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 pickle.